6:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Monday Night Football last night as the Jags defeat the Chiefs 31-28 on a last-second rushing touchdown from quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence was the Jags' leading rusher with 54 yards on 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. He added another touchdown through the air, going 18 of 25 for 221 yards. That touchdown and an interception. The Jags improved to 4-1 on the season, matching their win total from last season, and the defending AFC champion Chiefs fall below 500 to 2-3. In other NFL news, the Chargers are placing first-round rookie running back Omarion Hampton on IR with an ankle injury. Hampton was drafted with the 22nd pick in this past April's draft and will miss at least the next 4 games. Hampton had 66 carries for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns through the first 5 games of his rookie campaign. Playoff baseball continues in the MLB as last night the Dodgers survive a late rally from the Phillies to win Game 2 4-3 in their NLDS series to take a 2-0 lead. And the Brewers take down the Cubs 7-3 to take a 2-0 lead of their own. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Tuesday morning, off and running on Ramon and Will. We are fueled by Scooter's Coffee and back in studio, ready to hang out with you for the next 4 hours. We stream the show live at 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And Scooter's Coffee brings us to you every single morning. Visit a locally owned location near you. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. He is 11-year NFL veteran and Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster. Jackson Williams in for Justin Hawkins behind the controls. I'm Will Bowling on this rainy Tuesday, October the 7th in beautiful Music City. Good morning, Ramon Foster.
Good morning, Will. I jumped the line right there, man. I already had me a shot of coffee this morning, taking my vitamins, got a cup of coffee going this morning. Scooters is also underneath the drip whenever you're ready for a cup or two.
Whenever we have cups upstairs, then I will get some.
That's what you were trying to go do a second ago.
That's
you're
okay.
right. Soon as we can afford a couple of cups is when
I'll
you
go steal from the moneymakers downstairs here the second we go into our first break.
Yes, we are. Sales get the best, man. That's all I know. They had a better looking kitchen than we do up here, but we get it out the mud, Will, and we will not complain on air.
It's absolutely right, even though we just did. Last night, people in Jacksonville aren't complaining.
No.
31-28 Jags over the Chiefs. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 4-1. The Kansas City Chiefs are 2-3. Who has the more surprising record, Ramon, through 5 weeks, the Jags or the Chiefs after last night's game?
I want to give an answer to this one because I should say yes is the answer. But the most surprising, Chiefs.
I think so, too.
Chiefs,
I'm not shocked the Jags have started the season like this.
Nope. We joked about this a little bit during the summer.
We were honest about it. We told people Jags can be better than you think.
And then we also mentioned the coach. It's like, as weird as that intro is, he gotta be good. Remember joking about that? Like, that's what Liam Cohen's proven. It's 2 things why he needed to be good. One, his intro was weird as weird could be, and that's just him. And sometimes you got to overlook that. It's his personality that they love, that type of relationship stuff. But the other part was the okey-doke he allegedly pulled on Tampa to weasel himself out of that offensive coordinator role that he had for them. Remember, there was a report that he said he was coming back. He wasn't going to take the deal. He made Tampa up the money, and then somehow he didn't go back to Tampa to sign his contract because they said his kid or something was sick, wife, somebody. The story got out this past. It was messy. You got to be good when you pull something like that. Like, he might not have the coach's chin or the coach's beard that people talk about or that coach's snarl, you know what I'm saying, that people joke about. But he got the savage mindset of wanting to go get what he want as a future head coach. And now he's 4-1 for the first time since 2007. I was a junior in college then, Will.
I was 10.
You were... My brother.
It is impressive what they've been able to do in a really short amount of time. And down 14-0 in the second quarter. Came back, scored 28 of the next 38 points in the game, led 28-24. They were down 28-24 with 1:45 to play, and they came back. They did it again. Again, like you said, first 4-1 start since 2007. Big couple of throws from Trevor Lawrence, 33 yards to Brian Thomas Jr., 13 yards to De'Ami Brown. Here's the thing about Trevor Lawrence. It is the curse of expectations that he earned based on the way he played at Clemson. But, Trevor Lawrence celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday.
He's just 26?
Exactly. We are in year 2s and 3s of COVID quarterback contracts of guys that we still have, like, the jury out on. Yeah. Can the jury still kind of be out on Trevor Lawrence? Has he done enough to reinvent himself already under a new head coach in Liam Cohen, who made Will Levis look pretty dang good at Kentucky?
Man, so here's the thing. We're having this conversation about, if you bring that up to me, well, you know how my mind works at times. If we say, or if you bring up, hey, we should potentially be patient with Trevor Lawrence. He's still young. He's still new at this. You add to the fact that he's had 4 head coaches, 3 new offensive play callers. He's had that. It's Jacksonville. Can we just throw that in there, too, in general? We can throw that in there. Heck, they had an entire scandal. So, yes, I do say, like, more time should be given to a guy like him. Now, the expectation that it may have been Aikman last night that said it. We've unfairly thrown those expectations at him. I think they said Liam Cohen told him, you can't help that. That's not a part of your journey. Your journey is yours and walking it how you see and as quick as you need to develop. And to be quite honest with you, there has been a lot of change and turnover and just unacceptable ways in which he was managed for what they thought the expectations of him was. So it's fair because we got a different outlook now, Will, on Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Was Geno Atkins if Geno Atkins can stay that way until after he plays the Titans. But there's a lot of guys that are in that boat. To your point about sometimes it's development, sometimes it's maturity. Heck, Carson Wentz this past weekend got a win out of nowhere. Scenarios do matter, and I think how you are or who you're matched up with as an offensive coordinator and potentially a head coach does matter too. Trevor Lawrence has also been dealing with this part, and I think it's where the Titans are. And you can bring it back to Callahan just a little bit.
Sure.
They have been in a position of trying to transition new talent. They have been trying to find a foundation. Trayvon Walker didn't even play last night, but they're watching their linebacker, who was it? Devin Lloyd. Intercept Patrick Mahomes all the way to the house. Like that, to me, that interception for a touchdown was reminiscent of what Derrick Henry's start of an era was here in Nashville against them. Remember where the 99 yards and Derrick became the guy, well, like a little bit before then, but like the legend of what the Tennessee Titans are to be taken seriously was the exact same thing. Now, like I said, to bring it back to Cali just a smidge, if we're saying Trevor Lawrence is still young and he's got to grow up and he's had a whole lot of change, the build up of what their talent is also as a squad is just now getting there again. You're saying Brian Thomas Jr. turned into something. Again, I think looking at what Travis Hunter is, they got the running back situation seems like figured out. The defense has been drafted mostly by them too. Is this 3 years away from where the Titans are?
Hopefully, it's less than 3, but yeah, there are some things that Jacksonville has done that you want to do too. You're right. I do think the defense is what deserves even more credit as we kind of look holistically at the way they've done this. This has been more of a defense-led first 5 weeks than it has been even Trevor Lawrence, who I think deserves credit. But this Jags defense has 14 takeaways to start the season. This was actually the only game all year where they have not had at least 3 takeaways. Mm-hmm. They had at least 3 forced turnovers in each of the first 3 weeks, and then they had 4 in week 4, and they just had 1 last night. But when you have the one that goes for 6, then that's okay. You're more willing to not have multiple turnovers if the one you get is a touchdown. So credit to them, credit to that defense for being significantly better than they were last season, because last year Jacksonville's defense was awful, 31st in yards allowed, and they actually only forced 9 turnovers all of last season. That was 32nd. That was last in the NFL. They forced 14 through 5 games. So they've forced 5 more turnovers through 5 games than they did all of last season in 17 games. That's more the reason why they are in the mix right now at the top of the AFC South, and even it is Trevor. But Trevor deserves credit for that comeback and for that game-winning drive last night. That was surgical to lead them down the field. And the play to pick it up after he stumbled and run into the end zone, really impressive.
Yeah, but also Geno Smith, not Atkins. I'm not talking about the defensive tackle right there. I just breezed right on past.
Well, I thought you were just talking about the Jags defense and talking about how they've got Geno Atkins like guys and Trayvon Walker and some of those other guys, but that's okay.
Pretty much could. That's on me this morning. I need more sips of the coffee. But Will, you mentioned like you don't want it to be that long for the Titans.
Well, I just you hope it's not that long. I mean, if it is that long and you get to that point, fine. But you just hope it happens quicker.
That's the hope. Like, but this is Trevor Lawrence's 5th year as a pro. Like the mess, if it was coaching, if it was front office, if it was bad draft picks and lack of players that he's had. Now, they have shopped in free agency, though. I will say that, too, the Jaguars. But, like, 5 years is now where you start to see a little bit of, okay, Trevor looks like he could be something. Now, paired with the right play caller, and guys have essentially grown up right in front of his face, too.
Yeah, the more I think about it, still. I'm not ready to go quite that far from the Titans' perspective to say, let's be the Jags, because it's only 5 weeks. And let's see if they can sustain this amount of forced turnovers. Like, yeah, they're better than people thought, but I'm not going to go overboard and say that they're a model franchise yet.
No. I'm just saying, like, as far as this year, with what they're doing with Liam Cohen, like, it seems real, right? With how they've won football games. They've lost also in a fashion which is like, what the heck was that? But, like, looking at how they played a premier team. Now, again, to your point also about it being, we're more surprised about it being Kansas City. Like, what is Kansas City actually going through? Patrick Mahomes looks like he's trying to will his way into something. His offensive line is getting pushed back more than they ever should be, I feel like, at this point, but they have everything that you want. They just simply got outdueled.
They got a rookie day 2 pick left tackle who's learning on the job. I mean, they've got major questions on defense. They've got major questions at pass catcher. Like that's not a total contending like championship level roster anymore. It's a championship quarterback with a couple of premium players, but top to bottom, they don't have the same depth. Because when you pick in the 30s and then the high 20s every single year in the NFL draft, and you pay a lot of those guys, like it's just what happens. Yeah. It becomes harder and harder to give yourself cheap, good players, which is how you sustain success in the NFL. Have cheap, good football players.
But are they still in the window because they have Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah,
okay.
So as long as Mahomes is there and healthy and not like 38 or 30, and I say that, and I mean Brady did it. Like, as long as Mahomes is there and healthy,
they're in the window.
They're in a Super Bowl window. Okay, no doubt.
No doubt. 2 and 3 though. Just did not expect this from them.
Well, it doesn't get easier for them because they play Detroit on Sunday Night Football this upcoming weekend. So.
Ooh, I was wrong on week 1.
And that division is just a lot tougher now, too. And with Denver going to Philly and winning and L.A. looking inconsistent but competent, AFC West is fun.
It is.
But the AFC South is getting a lot better as well, as was evidenced last night. 615-737-1045 is our number. Again, we stream the show live for you on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. You can hop in the F&M Bank chat there and chat with our community. We invite you also to subscribe to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel as we get a little bit closer to 20,000 subscribers. Hope to be there by the end of football season. So you can help us get there a little bit closer this morning as we stream the show live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Brian Callahan had his Monday press conference yesterday and talked about a key position group on the Titans roster that is starting to round into form. We'll talk about that next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Do you have a electrical issue at home? Well, available 24/7, the Lee Company team handles electrical problems and more in short order. In dealing with electricity, that requires an expert, right? You start to cross wires, you start to try to do things yourself around the house. Maybe you're like me, and when you do that, you just make things worse. All of a sudden, places in the house that were working the way they're supposed to, all of a sudden are dark. Those switches aren't working. Well, from routine repairs on outlets and switches to fixture upgrades and generator installations, Lead Company's award-winning electricians will get the job done right the first time. Contact Lead Company for all your home electrical needs at leadcompany.com. That's leadcompany.com to schedule with an experienced electrician and trust the company that has been trusted in Middle Tennessee for more than 80 years. You can call them at 615-567-1000 or head online to leadcompany.com. That's Lead Company, all you need. Tuesday morning on Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. A little bit of a different lineup today than what we normally have on Tuesdays because Cody Barton is going to join us at 8:30 this morning. Tennessee Titans linebacker and captain. That means Austin Price of AllQuest joins us an hour early at 7:20. Aditi Kinkhabwala of CBS Sports, who was on the sideline for Titans and Cardinals at 9:20, who I finally met in person.
She cool, ain't she?
Very cool.
She real cool,
best.
man. Didi be out here working, man. I can appreciate that. She'll be finding the right stuff, man. Getting, bullied a little bit by coaches from time to time, but it's neither here nor there.
Crazy.
She's going to ask questions that they don't like at times, which is usually
That's
part
her
of the job.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, it's usually part of the job too, Will. But good stuff, man. I'm glad y'all finally got a chance to link.
Yep. Absolutely. So yesterday, Brian Callahan spoke to the media and was asked about the offensive line that is starting to play better. And at the end of his presser, the head coach of the Titans had this to say.
Just that, I think you're seeing a group that's playing together. It's got a couple games under their belt now with really 4 of the 5 starters in there for most of it. I think Pete is playing really good football for us. I think Kevin Zeitler is playing really good football for us. Dan has played better over the last couple of weeks. He's really started to – that group is starting to take on a little bit of an identity. They're playing better. They're playing better technically. They're playing better as a unit. Lloyd's been really solid. He gets better every week that he comes off the injury. And then really Ole always played well for us. Even yesterday was a good game for him in a reserve role. And can't wait to get JC back. Hopefully that happens soon here. But I think it's just the totality of playing together. And you're starting to see moving the line of scrimmage a little more. We're doing some good things in the run game. It's been productive. They've been good in pass pro. They've been better the last 2 weeks than they were the first couple. And then we got to keep that going.
Ramon, how encouraged are you by the Titans' offensive line's improvements on Sunday in Phoenix?
It's been a whole lot better. They've dealt with a lot, man. The teams that they've played hadn't been easy, but none of it's easy in the NFL. What you, I guess, have to give time is what Coach Callahan is saying. You got to give time to those guys growing a little bit more together. Watching them kind of be in battles like they were this past Sunday most definitely helps catapult their ability to believe in what they're doing. Now, what I did notice this past weekend, too, was a lot of chips. I saw a lot of help from the exterior of the offense, meaning the running backs and tight ends playing a part in it, too. Like, again, we mentioned sacks or lack of being given up by the offensive line, but that also includes the running backs and the tight ends and also the quarterbacks, too. Like, there's a timing that has to be in the quarterback's mind on when to get rid of the football. There's only so much hero ball any quarterback can play. I think we're watching Patrick Mahomes do that from time to time where, he's just constantly downfield looking for the play, and that's good, but you got to know when to just next play. And I felt Cam had a little bit of that last week. It was one where he was under duress. He's going backwards. The one that you said almost hit you and Aditi Kinkhabwala right there on the sideline. Like, getting rid of those footballs also help protection. It's only so much that the big boys can do up front. What I've always said and kind of held my hat on has been when you look at the offensive line and the growth that they're going to have, especially a newly worked one like the Titans has had or a young one, it's usually about week 4. Last week was week 4, and that didn't bode well for them at all. But going into week 5 with what we've seen to be a similar opponent with good players on the other side, they held up. The sack that was contributed to the offensive line was mostly a coverage sack.
There were 2 of them.
2 of them, yeah. And I was going to go to the other one. The other one was a full slide to the right. And like I said, I more than anything put that on the running back and the quarterback to understand those type of situations right there. It's still a sack. The one thing that they do have to do, though, Will, is take a step when it comes down to their consistency of imposing their will on the run game. That is one to where it wasn't terrible this past weekend, but the moment that they fully click, you're going to see them take over a game to where it's 4 yards, it's 7 yards, and then it's 8 yards, and it's 3 yards. Like, that's the next phase that I'm looking for. But as far as the cohesion that they have, you got 2 guys, 3 guys that's played beside each other all year long. You got a veteran in the Zeitler that's trying to figure it out himself along with a replacement right tackle. What they have more than anything, Will, is cohesion more than they did even in training camp. And I think this, too, the worse it gets for you sometimes for the big boys that can't catch the football, run the football, and really contribute, those dudes get tighter. It would be smart on the coaches to honestly encourage the heck out of those dudes because they're going to be the ones that drag everybody else for the most part, especially when you got to just simply beat somebody up. This team they're about to go play this weekend is probably going to try to pound the ball over and over again just so they can get their quarterback going again.
Dan Moore from Pro Football Focus gave up one pressure and just the one sack, and that was the play you mentioned. And maybe a little harsh to put that all on Dan in Sunday's win over the Cardinals, and Tajay Spears likely shouldering some of the blame for that. But a 68.9 grade, much improved for Dan Moore from Pro Football Focus. But then the middle three are the big story of this game, because Peter Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Kevin Zeitler combined for 0 pressures and 0 sacks in this football game.
It looked like
89.1 from Peter, according to Pro Football Focus. Lloyd Cushenberry graded an 80.4. Kevin Zeitler also graded an 89.1. Oli Udoh, your backup right tackle, who has, I think, played exactly what you would hope and expect from a backup right tackle when he has had the chance to start the game and kind of get comfortable a little bit. 3 pressures allowed, 1 sack. It's kind of what you expect from a backup tackle against a decent front 7 in Arizona. But that middle 3 playing so well. That's something you mentioned yesterday. The Titans' left guard, center, and right guard are starting to come into their own a little bit. What does that mean for this offense? And how do you take advantage and build around a really solid foundation in your center guard triangle?
It becomes a little bit more from them as far as helping out the offensive tackles. If they're good up the middle, meaning if Peter can pass off of protection to Lloyd and go help out Dan Moore, it's the cohesion of knowing when and where I can pick my spots on the strengths of it. The other part for it, Will, is this. The best way to keep a quarterback comfortable is keep him behind those 3. You get a better, efficient Cam Ward in those moments right there, too. And I think that is probably the biggest attribute or the biggest step that can be taken for this team is having Cam be comfortable in that circle behind those 3. And again, we had moments where when I played, we switched out tackles often. Chris Hubbard, Kelvin Beachum, Mike Adams, good Marcus Gilbert, Alejandro Villanueva. That middle 3, to be quite honest, which is underrated, I think, of all of football. We give so much praise and hype to the tackles. But what happens is this. If Dan Moore's in a situation where he's getting beat around the edge and Lloyd can hold his own, those 3 usually only blocking 2. If Peter can go over and chip and push out a edge rusher that is almost about to sack Cam, the flow of operating is a little bit better, Will, is what I'm getting at, man. And the confidence that you can at any point in time drop back and protect, or if we want to run up the middle, is something that is a luxury. If we look at what Detroit is, we also look at what Philadelphia is. Their middle 3 are solid, starting with the center. And if this was the game right here that Lloyd takes that next step, everything else I feel like is settled at that point. Again, we need 3. Those 3 right there hold up their end. The tackles are just a bonus, to be quite honest with you. And I don't say that because I was a guard. I say that because I know what a good guard and center can do for either side at tackle.
Right. I think at the very least, you hope that Cam Ward, when he's like creating and moving around, can start to move up in the pocket versus out and around. Yeah. Right? Because if he's got a stable foundation in the middle 3, and Brian Callahan talks a lot about how interior pass rushers are the things that constantly disrupt plays and are the hardest for him as a play caller when he was the play caller, and harder for offensive coaches to scheme around. Well, then what's the counterpunch then, right? It's comfort and stability and confidence to step up in the pocket and give yourself a way out, even if your tackles aren't playing as well, right?
Yep. You can step up, to your point. There's more there's more of an ability to see down the field in the pocket than it is out. You shrink the field if you're running rolling all the way to the right side of it. So on the other side, if he's avoiding the middle of the pocket or getting flushed out, that's exactly what you want, because the faster edge guys are over the tackles. Like, I think that's one thing that Cam has learned is the edge rushers, they will close out on you quick. You're now no longer getting around guys and getting 8 yards on the scramble like you did in college. Like, the NFL doesn't operate like that at all because the athlete is just that much better. But again, what we're seeing is that group, I feel like, come together through the war of attrition and also just being very familiar with each other, too. The one game that Zeitler missed, I get it. He had to. But we also see what it looked like when those guys are in that mode. You get a sense of calm with those dudes. Right now, Peter Skoronski is a vet. We know we know Zeitler and doggone Cushenberry are too at this point. If Peter is matching where they are mentally, the physical part is there. Well, he's been dominating physically. Peter Skoronski has. It's a matter of how can he adjust to guys throwing glitches at him or something that he hadn't seen, and he seems to be adjusted well. He should be in consideration of top guards this year. If this record does change around and the run game does get going a little bit more or Cam has a big moment, Peter should be right there beside him, period, at this point. I know JC is out right now, but it should be Peter and doggone Cam Ward, in my personal opinion.
Peter Skoronski, according to Pro Football Focus, has the 4th best pass blocking grade among all guards in the NFL, 104 of them graded, at an 80.3. Peter, 4th best. He's allowed 1 sack. That was in Houston. Mm-hmm. One of those plays, too, where he kind of lost his footing and kind of slid back on that turf. Yeah. And that was really the only game where he's not played well. 5 of the 7 pressures that he's allowed this season were in Houston. He did not allow a single pressure in this game against Arizona. And according to PFF, Ramon, that's the 3rd time this year that Peter has gone through a whole game without giving up a single pressure. Didn't give up pressure in Denver, at home to Indy, or on the road in Arizona. That's the year 3 jump that you want to see.
Year 3 jump.
And he's starting to look like a guard, too, that was worthy of a top 15 pick. Picked 11th. What does Ramon always say? Friends.
It's year 3.
It's year 3 for offensive linemen.
It's year 3. It's the intro. It's the adjustment to everything everybody saw from you your rookie year. This is the year that you have more time to work on yourself, which he did and explained to us. And also, he's transitioned from tackle to guard. I don't think people understand how much of a transition that is. Like, yeah, there's some guys that's done it somewhat seamless, or, hey, you didn't notice them as much, probably because their team was winning. But everything happens faster. We're talking about a guy that used to set back 5-6 yards before making contact with somebody. Well, that contact now happens within a yard or two. And you got to be able to handle the bigger body. Guys are faster up the middle, and they're also just stronger, too. Peter was going against guys, essentially, who were about 240 to 260. Now he's going against guys who are now 300 to 350. And there's a difference in how you handle it. There's a difference in how you attack that. We saw all summer long from a guy like Peter Skoronski, him trying stuff out. That's one thing I will say. If there's anybody I feel like that's benefited from Coach Bill Callahan, it has been Peter Skoronski. He learned to jump guys, which is it's very uncomfortable. It's almost as if somebody's about to cross you over and you reach for the ball. And then you get crossed over. Like, that's essentially what you're setting yourself up for. But his point of it all is to start the fight before they get to me.
Yeah, don't concede ground. Go get him.
Absolutely. And he's big enough and strong enough. And his base, if you watch that, too, you mentioned the Houston Texans sack that he gave up. His base got wide on that one, too. If you watch his base, his feet they're nonstop, number one, but they never get wider than his shoulders. And that's the beautiful part about his ability to move side to side. You took an athlete at tackle and adapted him to playing interior on the offensive line. And that also was, I think, the biggest point of it all. Tackles that move to guard, I feel like, naturally have a better pass pro than I think guards in general do, just because they're used to seeing faster guys and understanding angles a little bit more. He had to grow, and this is that year 3 jump for Peter Skoronski.
The other benefit to the offensive line playing better, more time for Calvin Ridley to get open. Brian Callahan talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I think somebody asked me a question about that maybe on Friday, just about how do you get Calvin going, and my answer is the same then as I think it is now, is that you just got to keep finding ways to use his skill set. We protected well in the game, which I think was a big part of being able to push the ball down the field a little bit more and find some explosive plays. But I got a lot of confidence in Calvin, and he's shown his ability to change the game for us, and he just needed to capitalize on the opportunities, and I think he was in the right frame of mind to go do it, and really played well for us down the stretch of the game, and we needed every bit of that to be able to win, and we're going to need that moving forward too. So got to keep putting him in the right spots and giving him opportunities, and we keep protecting well and giving Cam a good pocket, we'll be able to find him down the field.
Titans head coach Brian Callahan speaking yesterday. So that is the benefit to the offensive line play you're getting. The benefit is there's more time for Calvin Ridley to get open, and some of these explosive plays are happening because you finally have a stable pocket, and not only just stable up the middle, but elite on this Sunday, elite line play in your center guard triangle from Peter Skronsky to Lloyd Cushenberry and Kevin Seid.
I heard Coach Callahan say that yesterday, and I side-eyed it just a little bit because here's the part that we've had with Calvin. I don't think it's been the idea of Calvin not being able to get open. It's Calvin's ability to always catch the ball when it comes his way.
True.
That to me as a player was always frustrating. If the receivers are complaining or the coach is trying to make an emphasis on throwing the football, well, look, to your point, the offensive line has to hold up. The tight ends have to hold up and running backs too. But like the wide receivers have to do their job. And as you're right, as far as last week, his ability to show and prove that's a part of his game, that needs to happen more often for those to be a real threat. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I feel like we were speaking about who's the threat on this team. Calvin's got to do more of that, especially if this offensive line is stepping up in those moments. But I agree. That's what you're looking for is that.
I think if you look at 2 of the 3 explosive plays, though, to Calvin, those don't happen with some of the pockets that Cam has had to throw from over the first 4 weeks. Like the 47-yard pass over the middle with 11:54 left in the game, that was a stable pocket that Cam was able to throw from, take his time, and find him on 3rd and 10. Right? And 3rd and 10 has been the problem spot. The Titans had not converted 3rd and 7 plus or more than 3rd and 7 coming into this game. They were finally able to do that. You know, the 38-yard pass down the right side with 32 seconds left, Cam got that out quick. So I agree that's more on those 2 finally finding a connection and having an opportunity and taking advantage of it. But then, too, the 25-yard pass in the first quarter where Calvin is running a deep out to the left and fakes like he's running a post in and has time to then spin around and get to the boundary, and the ball's waiting for him as he turns. Right. Yeah, the timing is coming along between Cam and Calvin, but I think Cam is finally trusting what he has in front of him long enough to wait for Calvin to get all the way open and not have to fire it a little bit early and a little bit too hot.
That's right.
And Brian Callahan talked about that yesterday, and maybe we can hear that later in the show about there is an element of Cam throwing a more catchable ball that's important for this offense. And Brian admitted it and said he's got such a quick release. We're always working with him on how to layer his throws and how to put a little bit more touch on it and throw a little bit more of a catchable ball. It feels like when Cam doesn't have to rush his entire process,
it's more fluid,
and trusts what's in front of him, there is more touch to then make it easier for Calvin Ridley to catch the ball.
Yep.
That's the thing I think that he really improved on as this game went, is he just calmed down a little bit.
I do wonder what that conversation with himself was about, Cam, because he said nothing changed. He just trusted it more. Or he finally acted on some stuff that the coaches was telling him to. That has to be hard as a player, to your point, Will, because, again, the need to force a big play has looked like it's been all year long from him.
615-737-1045. Do you feel better about the Titans offense after that second half? How much more optimistic are you now about where the Titans offense is coming out of Phoenix? We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost. It's usually the most anxiety you're going to have on it, or if it'll get fixed right, or after the fact, if it stays fixed, or if somebody's just trying to sell you something you don't need. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, okay? They can diagnose like an NFL linebacker does, man. And the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Man, their techs are very professional, very experienced, and trustworthy, and all background and drug screen too. When they're on their way, this happened to me. I received a text from a random number. I was wondering, what is this? Well, it was a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time so that I wasn't waiting around wasting any time for them to show up. The motto has been, happy you'll be or the service is free. And they simply mean that. If you aren't satisfied with the work that Hiller does, they will give give you your money back or find the ways to fix it, okay? To learn more about them, a book like I do, simply visit their website at happyhealer.com.
Wrapping up hour one this morning, Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee as we go to the phones. How encouraged are you by the Titans' offensive performance on Sunday in Phoenix? Do you have legitimate hope as Ramon Foster watches film of Arkansas and grimaces about a college team that doesn't have legitimate hope? We go to the phones talking Titans this morning and start with Mike. What's up, Mike?
Morning, Mike.
There he is.
2 days in a row.
What's happening?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got a little bit more hope. I'm gonna go ahead and answer y'all's question, but I would have more hope if it would have been like, more of the second half. You feel me? To see them clicking a little bit more. But this is what I'm hanging my hat on. I think Bohart agreed. Was calling a pretty good game. It looked like they was having rhythm, but they kept dropping the balls, man. But y'all touching on the offensive line, we did see them start to hold up better. And the whole time I was watching, I kept saying, man, Moan kept telling me it's gonna take about 3 to 5 games for them boys to gel. So I'm like, this is the 5th game. Maybe they starting to gel. Maybe they starting to recognize how to play together. Maybe they starting to see how to block better. You feel me? So I'm just like, man, them receivers, what y'all was just talking about, man, them receivers got to see what's going on, and they got to start, like I said yesterday, man, find something. The glasses, that's not the problem. They focusing on the ball. They are not holding on to them. So, yeah, man, I got a little bit more hope, but we got to see more consistency. That needs to be the word for them receivers, consistency. Yeah. And all this trailing talk, let's not go down this path, please. Let's not go down.
I didn't even know anything about trailing. Who's bringing that up?
Yeah, there's a little update about that yesterday. We'll get to it in a minute.
Titans
Twitter, but much love, y'all.
Much love, Mike. Be safe, man.
Appreciate the call. No, that was Ian Rappaport with an incorrect report.
I thought
That's the reason why Traylon Burks came up yesterday. So Ian tweeted, former Titans first-round pick Traylon Burks, who has been recovering from a broken collarbone since training camp, has been cleared for all football activities by Dr. Damon Petty, the Titans team physician, sources say. And then Ian says, Burks was released from IR and can sign with anyone. That is not accurate, according to local reporters. And as I effort this, because I want to correctly quote it and get you the word-for-word tweet from Teron Davenport yesterday, he sent out a follow-up to that and said the Titans have actually not released Traylon Burks. The team hasn't spoken to him about his release as of now. It may eventually lead to him being released, but according to the team, Burks hasn't been released or told he will be.
That's just silly. I guess his agent's trying to notify everybody else.
Yes, he is.
There it is, man. All right, moving on.
Totally agent-led. I mean, anytime, respectfully, something comes out from a national reporter like Rappaport or Schefter, it's an agent.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, that's market setting right there is what that is. I had somebody from Pittsburgh tweeted me. I guess they were looking for a wide receiver or something like that, and they were like trying to ask me questions about Traylon. I was like, listen, to actually get an answer, listen to me Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., okay? That's where you can get those answers at. But no, Traylon in that conversation, just that's dead, I guess, right now until he contributes or either is gone.
It's just, we've moved on.
All right. One thing on Mike's call talking about the offensive line, what I will say is this, like, getting that group together, the offensive line, the consistency of what they play for, the biggest test, I think, for this upcoming week for the Titans is, yes, getting back on the road and going to the West Coast again. But you've shown us. You know how it is as a parent. You see your kids do something good, it's like, show me again. I feel like that's the NFL. Show me again. If they can carry over that second half into the first half of the Raiders game and show that this is a standard method of operating for it as a team, then you got something. I do think the turnover happens. That turnover changes. What I have noticed, too, is even after one win, and it was awesome with how this team, 1-4 sounds a whole lot better than 0-5. I feel like the Dogs kind of backed off Callahan a little bit with the idea that Bo called a good game. Cam finally had his feet underneath them. Guys are getting healthy. Guys are giving more effort defensively than we've seen before. A turnover can happen. A change can happen. Perception can be different. We asked this, I feel like, going into week 2 this year when they were 0-2 or 0-3, especially after the Colts game or before it. Can Callahan salvage his job? Can he help himself by winning? A lot of people say, no. We had more positive calls, I feel like, as a show than we ever have in the history of this show, Will, yesterday, about this team, about the game. There was one guy that called in, I think Mark, that was gifts. But winning changes a lot.
I don't know if it's the most positive in the history of the show, but I mean, it definitely was more positive.
It was more positive than I thought it would have been. I thought there'd have been a whole lot of, we got gifted a win conversation that happened yesterday.
It was just Matt and Mount Juliet.
Well, the point of it all is this. We mentioned it before. Callahan hadn't necessarily lost the locker room. That was, I think, the most important thing that he's had going for him. If he can continue this as a head coach going into Las Vegas this upcoming weekend, storylines can change quickly. This is an ever-changing league. This is a show-me type of league. And if he does that again, it could be a good point for Callahan moving forward, man.
We'll see. I mean, what I'm interested in is how they can capitalize on competent line play. We've talked a lot about how this offense and this system and this scheme is not set up for success when you're constantly in 3rd and 10 and 11 and 12. All right, well, can you get us out of those situations with better protection? How do you take advantage of giving Cam Ward time to throw? Are guys really as open as we've thought? Or are there fundamental issues with how this staff is scheming guys to be open? We're about to find out, because if the offensive line starts playing better and the offense stays the same, we have a problem. But if the offensive line starts to give you a foundation to improve upon, it starts to give Cam time to throw, and all of a sudden there's an explosive element, you're busting some runs, and you're putting up more than just 22 points, well, then, yeah, we can start having that conversation. Let's see if this offensive line, like you said, can do it again. Because if so, I think all of a sudden you start to feel a lot better about guys having time to get open and your rookie quarterback looking like himself and not the funk that he was in the first half.
Tavondre eligible to come back soon?
I think he's got one more week.
Okay.
One more week. So we'll see. We will see. 615-737-1045. Cam Ward learned an important lesson in the second half of Sunday's win over Arizona. We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon and Will for Window Nation. October is here, and so is the chilly air seeping into your home. That's if you have old, stuck windows or cracked windows too, man. Window Nation can help you. You can eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with top-quality replacement windows from Window Nation. Window Nation will have some of the best replacement windows out there, and their installation crews, they finish the job in one day or less, so you can get back to your daily routines with minimum interruption.
And Ramon, they also have the best deal on the market. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 for free. There's no limit to how many windows you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation, like you said. So make no payments for 2 years, no monthly payments, down payment, and no interest until 2027, which is a big deal with the holidays coming up. Put an end to your window problems before this beautiful fall weather ends. Call Window Nation at 866-90-NATION, or you can head online to windownation.com. Schedule a fast free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control, man. Fall in Middle Tennessee, cooler weather, football, family time. Listen to me, I love it. There is no better time of the year than fall. But you know who else loved this season? Pests, stink bugs, Asian lady beetles, mice, even termites. They don't slow down because it's just fall. No, that's why I trust All-American Pest Control. Their Complete Care Max program provides maximum protection season after season with one simple plan, man. It's a peace of mind every time. Call All-American Pest Control or visit their website at yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
7 o'clock on the dot. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Monday Night Football last night as the Jacksonville Jags defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28 on a last-second rushing touchdown from quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence was the Jags' leading rusher with 54 yards on 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. He added another touchdown through the air, going 18 of 25 for 221 yards, and that touchdown and an interception. Jags improved to 4-1 on the season, matching their win total from last season, and the defending AFC champion Chiefs fall below 500 to 2-3. In other NFL news, the Chargers placing first-round rookie running back Omarion Hampton on IR with an ankle injury. Hampton was drafted with the 22nd pick in this past April's draft and will miss at least the next 4 weeks. Hampton had 66 carries for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns through the first 5 games of his rookie campaign. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour number 2. Getting started, not second half, second hour of the show. I got ahead of myself. On this rainy Tuesday morning in Nashville, Ramon Foster, Jackson Williams, Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. It feels like halftime of the show, Ramon, because Austin Price joins us an hour early. Coming up in 20 minutes, Tennessee and Arkansas this weekend. There are injury updates. There are rumblings about Jermod McCoy's status.
Yeah.
Austin changes rumblings into facts. So we'll get facts coming up in 20 minutes.
Let's get facts from him, man. Again, a lot of reporting. A lot of people just say stuff these days.
That's right.
Well,
You're looking at the film right now during breaks.
I am looking at the tape of them, man. I've been getting asked often, how do you prepare for a game on the weekends? Like, what are you doing? I let people know Mike Keith is a wizard. Like, you've seen him do work, too. Like, he sets the
Mark
rosters
is familiar with that.
0 through 99, and he writes every player's number down. He knows the facts, where they're from. That's his – Mike does that.
Oh, just 1 second, because I think you glossed over that. He writes down from memory 0 from 99, the other team's roster.
Yeah. And he writes their name down in their number slots.
That's correct.
And in college, there are numerous numbers, names at one number.
No doubt.
Arkansas's got 2 zeros. Yes. Arkansas has 2 zeros, 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s.
Recruiting in 2025.
And 2 6s.
That's classic.
And Mike is writing down each and every single one of them. It's insane.
Yep.
But that's his game. He's the ultimate, most prepared guy. But I'll say this, because of that, it makes me want to make sure I'm dialed into the detail of what these teams are running. Like, I'm looking at the scheme. Arkansas is a 4 down front, 2 linebackers up the middle type of team. They will blitz you off the edge. Their defensive line are big body guys, man. They got one kid that's 6'5", 387. So they're trying to emphasize holding up at the line of scrimmage, the way I see this game plan going. Offensively for them too, they got some backs, man. One of their running backs just wrote his notes down just a second ago. He is Braylon Russell, 6'1", 238.
Big boy.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Bush that played at Louisville under Coach Bobby Petrino back in the day. Michael Bush.
Yep.
Remember how big he was? Like 6'4", 240 or whatever. This is right up his alley.
Good NFL career for Michael Bush, too.
It was a good NFL career.
A bowling ball.
Yes, he was. But I do think going into this upcoming weekend, they're going to try to make this a ground and pound, reset themselves type of game. They have fired defensive coordinators and defensive line coaches. It's a very fascinating matchup for the Vols.
We'll talk about that with Austin Price coming up in 15 minutes. Cam Ward learned an important lesson on Sunday in Arizona. Titans head coach Brian Callahan was asked about Cam learning to check it down more and taking some of the easier stuff in the second half, and had this to say.
Yeah, I think that's a great lesson for him. That's what we needed from him early in the game too. Is we had some opportunities to complete some balls that were the easy throws. You know, we're trying to make it as easy on him as possible. Some of those throws he made at the end of the game were high level difficulty throws and really good catches, but trying to make those be the throws that have to happen a couple of times a game, and the rest of it be as easy as possible. And he's figuring that part out as we go. Had some opportunities early in the game, and I think he really calmed down in the second half and just focused on putting his eyes where they're supposed to be and just throwing the ball where it's supposed to go and not trying to do anything other than that. And I think you saw how effective that is when you do that and you can move the ball down the field as long as you take completions. And that's the one emphasis for him all this week is we got to complete the ball at a higher rate. Not all that's on him, obviously, but there's a part of that does fall on his shoulders, and we got to continue to do what we did in the fourth quarter.
Ramon, I have hope that second half can be more common for Cam, or maybe it clicked that he doesn't have to be the hero of this offense.
Yeah.
Because he started to make heroic plays on the game-winning drive that started by checking the ball down. You get to make big-time throws when you eat your vegetables and check it down for 5 yards to the running back or the tight end every now and then. And you've got a tight end again in Chikakonko, who I think is playing better than what the conversation has been and what the stat sheet shows, who turned a 2-yard check down into a 12-yard gain and a first down.
That has to be the emphasis for a young guy like Cam. We've had this back and forth about what is the best pathway for him to be successful. And a lot of it is let Cam do Cam, and that's a part of it if he can do the simple stuff first. That's why staying in the pocket. That's why the integrity of having the interior offensive line be good, make him settle down. I feel like if you look at the first half versus the second half of that game, his feet, his eyes, his delivery was a whole lot more smoother than it was because I feel like it was just, all right, well, screw it. We're either going 0-5 or I'm going to just take what's in front of me. You have to get like that as a player sometime. I do think this too. Having his ball almost be intercepted and then hit the ground for a touchdown, it's certain moments that there's luck involved in your play. There's luck involved in for pitchers getting out of an inning, a ground out, a double, somebody leaving base. There's those moments that continue to give you the confidence that you need to do the simple stuff, do the smart stuff. The wizardry that comes with him or Patrick Mahomes or these other guys that play the game a certain type of way, Matthew Stafford even himself, it comes through doing the basics first. That's what saves you. That's what continues to feed you more than just, hey, I need the big shot. We've said it before. I do think we've run into previous quarterbacks here like Will Levis that wanted the big shot moment all the time. That's not how you live in the NFL because the defenses are so much more complex and detailed than anything you've ever seen before. He's got to get the basics down.
Well, and even, too, in the 2021 season when the Titans beat the Chiefs 27-3 in Nissan Stadium, Patrick Mahomes was learning this same lesson then. He did not come into the league immediately knowing how to check it down and how to take his easy throws. He had to learn that years into his NFL career as well. This is not even a lesson that Cam is going to immediately learn this year.
Yeah.
But you hope that Sunday was the foundation to start that process to say, all right, this is what being a successful NFL quarterback really looks like.
That's why, to your point, why in week 3, Zaire Franklin, the coach linebacker, said, I hope he throws another pass like that. Because he knows that's not normal. That's risky.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Not regularly, no.
If they got him rolling and throwing footballs down, that's why he said that.
Sure.
I didn't think that was an egregious thing to say. It is bulletin board material, but he's also almost baiting him. Do it again is what he's saying. That's not how you live as an NFL quarterback. I feel like that's what Anthony Richardson has tried to do. He's seen this firsthand.
Let's go to Greg in Rhode Island, 615-737-1045. What's up, Greg?
Good morning, guys. I was calling with a nice positive thought, and then I heard that Brian Callahan clip, and it just pissed me off. This guy, if you did that in the first half, it would have been different. Brian, you won the game off those 2 explosive plays, and in the first half, your receivers dropped all the balls. It's come on, guys. Just give the kid a little credit. I see what you guys are saying, but now back to the positive thought. We felt a little magic. I mean, I felt the magic in the air with that win. It took all those plays, the ball going out the back of the end zone, coming off a helmet, getting a touchdown, just to cobble that win together. And for the first time in forever, I felt the magic like I did in 2019, the season where they benched Mariota and they clawed their way back to 500 just to make it to the playoffs. I still have hope. I still feel they proved something to me that weekend, and they have a bunch of winnable games coming up, and I just want to see them get back to 500, and then anything's possible. Hope it's a dangerous thing, but it's a beautiful thing.
No doubt.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate the call.
Appreciate it, Greg.
I mean, it wasn't just drop passes in the first half. Cam was not throwing accurate passes in the first half.
No, it was exactly.
I don't know how you can be upset with what Brian said there, to be honest with you, because the only reason why the explosive plays were there to be made was because you extended that drive by checking it down on, 4 passes in a row to Tony Pollard, the first 2 plays, Gunnar Helm to move the chains, and then another conversion and short completion to Chig, which then set you up to throw the explosive pass. So the two go hand in hand. You get to throw explosive passes when you extend drives long enough by not being in 3rd and 12 by checking it down.
Yeah. It was what's funny too about like this luck that they had out in Arizona. Every team experiences this type of stuff. At least you're not Cincinnati in a 2015 playoff game at home where Vontaze Burfict picks off Ben Roethlisberger, run through the tunnel, excessive celebrations, and they get penalties. And the next play where they should have just run the ball out, you had, and I'm looking up at it right now, you had one of the running backs at the time fumble. Jeremy Hill caught the football and fumbled it. Like this type of stuff happened.
Weird things happen in NFL games all the time.
It's better to be on this side where you can laugh at Arizona instead of being laughed at around the league right now. You still got another guy, Dan Orlovsky, who is championing Cam Ward more than any analyst I think on the national circuit right now. He's saying if you just take care of him and give him more weapons, Cam Ward can be a top 8 player in the league if the Titans do the right thing. Like this past Sunday in Arizona was a part of that story.
Yep. Yeah, he tweeted out yesterday, Cam Ward's tape is incredible. He's better than we thought. If the Titans do right with and around him, he will be a top 8 player at QB easily. I'd sign up for that.
It could have started Sunday.
Maybe. We're going to find out. Roy is up next on the phones. What's up, Roy?
What's up, guys? Throughout the history of the Titans, we've been known as a running team and using tight ends. Great tight ends. Of Arizona, they've got a great young tight end, Trey McBride. Mm-hmm. And almost every week we have when we play a team, it seems like their tight ends are always ripping us apart, and the other team uses checkdowns a lot more than we have recently. With that being said, I would love to see Gunnar Helm get more than just 5 targets on the day. I know Chig's there too, and he should be stepping up a lot more too. But I think the future could be bright with Gunnar. And what do you guys see him with? Hopefully, them using him in the future. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Roy. I agree. I think a lot of Gunnar's usage starts in the red zone, and they just haven't been in the red zone enough to use him. That's kind of where you want to start a rookie like that, to let them have an impact in one phase of the game and then earn more. But Gunnar has caught 11 of his 13 targets this year. So far, he's had the best hands on the team through 5 games. I absolutely think he's earning more of a look.
I do too. I think this Arizona game is going to show that a little bit more too. He needed a moment also because before then, the main thing you were trying to do is get Calvin started and then get Alec Ayumaner started too. Like all of these things were in front of him because those two dudes have had proven plays more than he has up until lately.
Coming up next, VolQuest's Awesome Price joins us an hour early since we've got Cody Barton on the show at 8:30 this morning. The latest out of Knoxville ahead of Tennessee and Arkansas, including the status of a couple of defensive players Tennessee hopes to get back from injury, with Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3 coming up next. Tuesday morning at our Morning Will continues. And as always, we are fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. In an hour early, the glass is broken this morning since we got Cody Barton coming up at 8:30. We are pleased to be joined once again, previewing Tennessee and Arkansas by VolQuest's Austin Price. What's going on, Austin? Good morning.
How are we doing, guys?
We're good. We're ready to watch Tennessee football again. We had withdrawals on Saturday. We've got Ramon watching film of 240-pound running backs again that are going to see the Tennessee defense. Well, what stands out to you, Austin, as you preview this matchup for the first time with us?
Well, I think there's a great unknown going against Bobby Petrino. You can obviously look at what Arkansas has done to this point offensively because Petrino was the one running the show, but defensively they've got basically all new staff. So what can they cobble together in 10 days or so? What can they do where the kids don't struggle to communicate anything new? What kind of defense are they calling? I would expect them to throw the whole kitchen sink on both sides of the ball, defensively, offensively, special teams. And why not? What do you have to lose if you're Arkansas? And so, I think there's some unknown there if you're Josh Heupel going against this Arkansas team because defensively, what are they going to do? And then even on offense, do they take more chances, with him in charge than maybe they would have with Sam Pittman?
Austin, defensively for Tennessee, what do you think has been the cause of some of the run defense issues? Linebackers setting the edge, D-line, and backups. What do you think Tennessee is focused on as they prepare for another big back, like we said, in Braylon Russell, who comes to town this weekend?
I do think that the linebackers setting the edge. I think communication has been, something they've got to be better at. I think these are small things that they can tweak, especially over the course of a bye week, to where all of a sudden, and then getting some players back, getting Boyd back against Mississippi State, and then getting him into game shape and ready to go as we head into this month of October. I think that's pivotal. Getting David Hobbs back this week helps the cause. I think all those little things can add up to all of a sudden Tennessee's a little bit better on defense than they were a couple of weeks ago, and things look a little different. And if you can play a little better defense and the offense continues to play pretty well, all of a sudden you get a football team that's clicking pretty well.
Austin Price joins us this morning, VolQuest on 3. Austin, looking back at the game of whatever that was last year, the Vols sitting at number 4 against Arkansas, who you knew had some talent, man, but watching them defend Taylon Green with his threat of running the football, I think they knocked him out for a little bit, and Malachi Singleton came in and gave him a spark also. I think he ended up scoring a touchdown for Arkansas. This time around, there's no element of surprise. You know that Bobby Petrino, since he's been at Louisville, like to run his guys, like to have the big bruising offense. How important is it to contain what Taylon Green is throwing the football, I think, more than actually running? Because they seem to have done lightly well with that this year as far as running quarterbacks go.
Yeah, I don't know if they faced one quite like Green, though, this year. I know they faced him a year ago, and they ended up knocking him out of that football game. But Green is a long, athletic, just lean on you type of running quarterback. And obviously he can make plays down the field with his arm. So I do think this is a little bit of a different animal compared to what they played to this point. I mean, I know that Gunnar Stockton can make plays with his legs, but he's not a running quarterback. But Taylon Green he's pretty freaky in the open field if you're going to try to tackle him because he is so big and so elusive. So I think Tennessee's going to get their real test Saturday. If they go out there and they shut him down, then I think you can really say, they've done a really nice job. I think having that game at home obviously is huge. Much like, playing John Mateer in Oklahoma at home in the month of November, I think is pivotal. Like getting that game at home is big for Tennessee.
Yeah, no doubt. And so here's the thing, I guess you look at it this way too. Against the good competition that Arkansas has faced, that's Notre Dame, that's Memphis, and that's Ole Miss. They've averaged giving up 43 points. Now, of course, they fired the defensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino did. But how important is it for Heupel to start fast on this defense, man, to kind of show like you are just who you are this year in 2025 for the Razorbacks?
Yeah, I think that's why you wonder, like, what kind of junk stuff do they throw at him? What kind of stuff do they throw at Tennessee? Because you're right, they've been shredded up pretty good. Change defensive coordinator, change defensive voices, same defensive players, and that's why you wonder, like, what kind of junk do they throw at them? What kind of funky stuff do they toss around at Tennessee's offense to kind of throttle them early to try to get them on a slow start just to give Arkansas a chance? And if Tennessee starts fast in this football game, it's probably not ideal for an Arkansas opportunity to come in and get a win on the road.
Austin, you follow recruiting very well, and a lot of these SEC athletes that may not go to Tennessee probably go to Arkansas, Ole Miss, or Georgia, whoever else. They target the same type of guys. You mentioned the personnel being the same. When you look at Arkansas's roster, do you see a competitive, good roster when you look at the bodies that they got on the field?
I think it's okay. I wouldn't call it great. Tennessee's roster is better. And it's kind of like Mississippi State's roster versus Tennessee's roster. I mean, Tennessee's roster was better, and that proved key. I think it'll prove key in this one as well. And again, this game's at home, so Tennessee's a much more confident football team inside the friendly confines of Neyland than they are going on the road. And so I think that's why you like Tennessee's chances in this game. Besides the fact that Arkansas has not been very good to this point, they are not the same team, when they're away from home.
Austin Price of AllQuest on 3, your guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Austin, what is the latest on Jermod McCoy? And it seems like not even really his status for this weekend because he's got to practice in order to play this weekend. Is there any movement towards him getting closer to joining team practice and not just doing individual stuff?
At this point, I think that's what you're waiting on. There's no movement until he just does a team practice. He's not going to play in a football game until he does a team practice. So as long as he's just doing the individual stuff off to the side, then the path to the field is a pretty dark place. The moment he practices with the team, the sunshine comes out, right? So it's kind of like Coach Heupel said a few weeks ago about David Sanders. It's a day-to-day thing. Right now he's not cleared. He could easily be cleared in a hurry and then be ready to go. Same thing here. Like he's not cleared, to go out there and play in a football game right now because he's not went out there with the team in practice. The moment that, that happens, then everything changes. The outlook changes for Jermod McCoy. So I think that's what everybody's looking at here is when does that happen? Does it happen? I think that's going to be up to the medical staff. Will be up to how Jermod feels, and we'll see where things go from there. I know Jermod has told teammates that he was hoping to be back for this game, and had told them for a month he was hoping to be back by Arkansas. That does not look like it's going to happen. So the question is when does it happen? I don't think if he didn't play this week, I don't see him playing next week. You're not going to throw him out there against that trio of wide receivers. Hey, first game back, go. So the question is when can he get back, this year?
Austin, what about on the offensive line? Are you confident that David Sanders is the starting right tackle starting this week? And how much has he been able to kind of get back to full practice during Tennessee's bye week?
I think that's where it's trending to. Now, again, does it happen this week? I don't know that. I think that eventually, though, that's where this thing heads. And it may very well happen Saturday. Having 2 weeks to prepare, in practice is obviously something that helps David's cause. But I think a lot of it will depend on, how he performs in practice. And then what's the health of Jesse Perry? What's the health of Sam Pendleton? Both of those players were in boots, a week ago as they tried to get healthy off some ankle deals. So, if they're good to go, then, I think that can shift the offense around a little bit. But if I was a betting man, I would trend David at right tackle, Jesse at right guard, and Sham comes off and Wendell Moy goes to left guard. But again, I think a lot of it depends on how the team feels, how the offensive linemen feel, and how David has performed in practice. If he goes out there and he's not performed well for 2 weeks, and I don't believe that would be the case, but if he did, then obviously I think they would stick with the same 5 they've had.
Getting help on the defensive line, too. David Hobbs' ability to be available. Is he out of the walking boot practicing also? You expect him to be there this weekend?
Yes, he is back. David Hobbs will be back. Now, is he, Moy came back, and he played a lot more than I thought he would. I thought he would be on somewhat of a pitch count.
Right.
In that first game, he was not. Is David Hobbs. That may be more possible just because he's not played in 2 months and just trying to get him back out there. But if you get him for 20 snaps, Ramon, it's a huge deal.
It is.
They rotate so much that it doesn't. Playing 20 snaps is okay, and so can you get him out there for 20 snaps would be big, just to add to the defensive interior. But yeah, he's absolutely back in this football game.
One thing that's super unique, man, is Heupel's ability to get Joey Aguilar to this point. Have you guys asked him about? Not that he's never surprised, right? And I know he hates that type of question. Are you surprised by Joey Aguilar? But the ability to get him caught up in this offense, has it been at least fun for him watching him flourish the way he has? I mean, I'm not sure what his draft status is going to be, but he's showing that he can make NFL-type passes to wide receivers that have a strong opportunity now, especially in Chris Brazzell, of almost been a day-one pick at this point. What about that journey for him through Heupel's eyes? Has that been asked to him?
I think he's been excited for Joey. Probably a little bit surprised just because the kid got here in May and had to pick things up and do all those type things. But has done a tremendous job, on and off the field to help this team succeed. And obviously, has been able to go at a pace, has pushed the offense to go at a certain pace where they can have a lot of success. They're playing with some tempo to it. Sometimes they slow it down. Sometimes they go fast, but they have the ability to do either. And they've just got the ability to do so many different things with him a quarterback that they haven't had the last couple of years.
Quest Austin Price, our guest. Austin, I'll close with this on Tennessee, kind of big picture, and we always make the joke that we can look ahead, even though the team can't. It feels like Tennessee's probably got to win 2 out of 3, right, against Alabama, Florida, and Oklahoma, and then take care of business in games like this in order to be a playoff team this year. Where is the improvement that has to be made in this Tennessee team? What's got to happen that hasn't happened yet, Austin, for you, in order for Tennessee to handle business in 2 out of those 3 big ones and be a college football playoff team for a second straight year again this year?
They've got to get up the field on 3rd down. They got to get off the field on 4th down when teams like to go for it on 4th down. They've just got to get off the field and not let teams extend drives, which keeps the defense out there gassed late in the football games. I think that's pivotal for Tennessee, is just get off the field when you have a chance. When you've got a team in 3rd and 9, 4th and 6, 3rd and 12. Don't give up conversion plays. Don't take poor angles. Tackle better. Those type things. If you do those type things and the offense can continue to play well, then this is a team that can be right back in the CFP. But there's a lot of teams that I think will be in that 10-2 range across college football. And so if I'm Tennessee, I'm watching games, I know Tennessee fans hate Alabama, right? But I'm kind of for Alabama Saturday if I'm a Tennessee fan against Missouri, because Missouri's schedule just is not that tough. And if Missouri were to win that game, were you checking off a bunch of losses out down the stretch from Missouri? Whereas Alabama, you can look at it and go, okay, they got to play LSU, they got to play Oklahoma, they got to play Tennessee, they got to play Auburn. They've already lost to Florida State. There's multiple opportunities that that opponent can end up with 2 to 3 losses. The same thing. I think the other team I'm watching in all this is South Carolina. South Carolina has a really tough schedule, but they can play spoiler. They're still a good football team. Right. Lenore Sellers playing that thing at home. They can still play spoiler, even going on the road to an Ole Miss. So, I think for Tennessee, it's not scoreboard watch. It's take care of business. How you can take care of business. Do little things better on offense that maybe have slowed you down a little bit, do the things we talked about on defensively, and then again, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm looking at it going, okay, how does this team that could be potentially in the mix, how do they get to multiple losses, to 3 losses? Because if you end up with a bunch of 10-2 teams, then all of a sudden you're going to be looking at resume. Well, I mean, if Tennessee does not win at Alabama, what's going to be their best win? Oklahoma at home? Florida's not going to be. I mean, I know they beat Texas, but I mean, like, their record by the end of the year is probably not going to be real great.
Right.
And so, like, winning down there, which again, it's something done since 2003, and it doesn't matter if they're 0-11. You take that win in the swamp. I think that's another team that could play spoiler because they have so many games against teams like Texas A&M this weekend. You hate for Florida to get some momentum, but Texas A&M needs Tennessee. So I look at this a number of different ways, but that's kind of how I look at it. Take care of yourself, do the little things on offense and defense we talked about, and then Tennessee also, I think, needs some certain teams to lose in a certain way.
Are you also shocked by Arch Manning?
I mean, I've never really watched Arch play. Tennessee never really recruited Arch outside of kind of some initial, like, hey, would you like to come up? And, it never was interest back. And, like, so, I mean, I'm one that I don't concern myself with players that don't come here. I know that seems weird probably for some, but I just felt like, so I never had really watched him in high school, and he hadn't played. Last year you came in and flashed because he's such a good athlete. You flashed being able to run the football when Ewers, had to miss this or that. So I won't say surprised or shocked or didn't know what to expect with Archie Manning. Obviously he has talent. He flashes hard, but there's a lot of processing going on that's not processing fast enough. For a kid that again had not played until, which goes back to don't throw him away. Look at Daniel Jones or a number of different quarterbacks in the NFL right now. You better let him figure it out because I mean you don't want to look back and go, man, we had him. He didn't play that well for us, but now he looks great. Look at Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield. And that's NFL players, but I mean it still applies to the college game. You hope that it starts to click for him and it really starts to perform well if you're Steve Sarkisian. But again, this is a Texas team that does not have a super tough schedule. They've already got 2 losses. They do got a road trip to Georgia coming up, and that means that Georgia's either going to have their second loss at home in less than a month after winning 30-something in a row, or Texas is going to have number 3 loss of the year. Mm-hmm. And I don't even count like playing Oklahoma this weekend for Texas. So it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of this plays out. But, I mean, Arch is going to be a lightning rod for Texas' success or Texas' lack of success.
VolQuest Austin Price joins us every Tuesday, giving you the latest out of Knoxville at Austin Priceless, where you follow him on social media. An hour early with us here on the show today. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Austin Price bringing us the latest in Tennessee's preparation for Arkansas, and it does not sound like Jermon McCoy is going to be back for the next 2 games, which is a big deal for Tennessee's need to win in Tuscaloosa. Because at this point, Ramon, you're going to have to win in either Tuscaloosa or the Swamp.
Absolutely.
To be a college football playoff team, barring a big surprise.
Yep. But again, if they grow up a little bit more, as far as the cornerbacks go, Colton Hood is definitely shown to be that type of guy. And getting a young fella together is always going to be a thing.
Ty Redmond on the other side.
Young Ty.
Somebody's got to cover Ryan Williams next week.
They have to. Might as well put our 17. No, he's 18. Might as well put our young guy on him at this point.
18-year-old.
18-year-old, yeah. No, put our 18-year-old on him at this point. He's grown up. This is a big test for him this week. Bobby Petrino's going to try to go down the field. He absolutely will. That's his game.
Should. No doubt. 615-737-1045. Coming up, if you missed the breakdown early this morning on Monday Night Football last night, we got it for you. There is one element of the Jacksonville Jaguars start to the season that is by far the most impressive thing about how they've started 4-1. And we'll talk about that next.
Synergex and Low T Center are the original MVPs of testosterone replacement therapy. What makes them MVPs? Well, to start, they use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone to increase your testosterone to a level that's just right for you. They do this by taking your blood, getting everything, checking your levels. It's not just them guessing and saying, hey, take this. No. But did you also know that other clinics may compound their testosterone so you don't even know what you're getting or how effective it'll be? Synergex and Low T Center are the real experts that you can trust for quality care. Also, they are one of the only providers that accept most major insurances. Other clinics and online services charge you sky-high prices for testing, labs, membership. It goes on, man. But Synergex and Low T Center, they make it affordable and easy for you to start and stay on your treatment, too. Synergex and Low T Center, they have clinics conveniently located around town from Gallatin to Brentwood, all the way around. You have the power to choose if you want to be treated in the clinic or if you also just want to receive some at-home treatment. Either way, it all starts with a simple, quick, free test at the center. The on-site labs mean you get your results back in about 20 minutes. And with the new mobile app, it's even easier to meet the provider through the app and the app telehealth, all right? You can have follow-up visits, medication reminders, and then do a video tutorials in case you need a reminder on how to take the medicine, too. It's super convenient, and I'm sure you will love it. Simply put, guys, just imagine how much better you'll feel when you reignite your energy. Get back to feeling like you again. Book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner.
Ramona Will wrapping up the first half of your Tuesday morning. 615-737-1045, the number. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. After last night's Jags win, Ramon, according to Adam Schefter 2 minutes ago, there have now been 17 games this season with a go-ahead score in the final minute of regulation. That is the most through 5 weeks of a season since the 1970 merger.
Wow. I look at this one. A lot of the young quarterbacks have started to grow up. Looking at Baker and Sam. Looking at Carson Wentz overseas and the
Trevor
situation.
Lawrence
last night. I mean, there's been a lot of Cam Ward this past weekend. Although whatever you want to call it, it's still a score. Young quarterbacks are starting to grow up a little bit, and I think just the instability of what Philly has turned into, the parity that you have in AFC West right now.
No undefeated teams, too.
Yeah, 72 Dolphins. Safe
Only
again.
one winless team.
One winless? Oh.
The New York Jets. Classic.
How? With all that talent that they have up there.
Do they, though? They don't really have it anymore now that Aaron's gone and all his buddies aren't there anymore.
You got spots. I mean, Garrett Wilson is.
And Sauce Gardner. I see what you're saying. They have a couple of premium top-tier players, but the depth of that roster is still not very good.
I know. They got Quinnen and Quentin Williams. Like, they got guys at spots, but not enough of them. I agree with you. Their stars are elevated more.
Jags are 4-1, and last night they were down 14-0, their largest deficit by 10 points this year. The thing that is by far the most impressive thing about Jacksonville is their ability to turn their opponent over. They had 3 turnovers forced in each of the first 3 games. They forced 4 in week 4. And then last night they only forced 1, but it was a 99-yard pick six by Devin Lloyd. Jacksonville beats Kansas City despite 476 yards of total offense and despite a just gift of an interception that was given to the Chiefs as well on a play that was 100% pass interference. Despite all of that, Jacksonville finds a way to beat Kansas City. Ramon, how sustainable is this kind of defense? When you've got 14 takeaways in 5 weeks, can they keep living this way?
Yeah, I think so, because clearly it's embedded in their DNA this year. That's something that the Titans were attempting to do in training camp this year, too. Remember the emphasis on getting the football out. We saw them do throughout the duration of training camp. That's a part of who they are. That's also them, to be quite honest with you, being lucky. Sometimes that luck stick with you, especially if you work through trying to make it happen like that. And that's where they were. Devin Lloyd jumping on that ball the way he did. I mean, that scheme, that's knowing Patrick Mahomes' tendencies in situations like that, there's a lot more than it just being luck. There is a lot of detail and coaching to create those type of situations or situations like that. Usually when a defense starts out like that, that's just who they're going to be. And teams get tight about that type of stuff too that are facing them. You feel like you got to overprotect the football in moments. And they have guys watching them play last night, 3-4 at a time around the football, holding you up, trying to rake the ball out in those type of situations. So it's most definitely sustainable because they've seen success with it too.
Here's the thing for the Titans that now they have to deal with, Ramon. This division's getting better. Are you buying stock in AFC South teams, or do you think Jacksonville and Indy are fool's gold early in the season?
They beat some good teams. They have efficiency, even though I will say I see why some people get upset with what Trevor Lawrence is as a quarterback at times.
Right. Relative to his expectations, so that's fair.
It is, but looking at what they are defensively, all 3 teams, 4, if you want to throw the Titans in there too, despite the 1-4 record, every single defense is holding up the offense too. Even Houston. I mean,
especially Houston.
Especially
they can't
Houston.
Score.
I mean, and looking at the Colts
over the weekend, but
the Colts right now, just quick stat, looking at they're 3rd in points given up as a team. They're only giving up 17.8 points a game. So you ask me, is this sustainable, like, for where this team is, or have they gotten good? Yes, they absolutely have. The opponents that they faced, the Dolphins, all right, Broncos, they beat them, to beat the Titans, lost to the Rams in the 7-point game.
Talking about Indy now.
Yeah, Indy, and they absolutely smacked the Raiders. So, yes, it's believable. 100% believable, especially when you got defenses that are like this. And the way they're turning the football over to the Colts, what is this? They got 7-9 on the season already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, most definitely sustainable.
I mean, you got a bunch of teams who have just been bad long enough to where you have no choice but to draft some good players.
Yeah.
Jacksonville is consistently in position to draft good football players, and James Gladstone, the new GM, mortgaged a lot of that franchise's future on Travis Hunter, and that appears to have worked. Travis was Pro Football Focus's highest graded player on offense and defense for Jacksonville in this football game.
I ain't gonna lie to you. He looked like it yesterday.
He's starting to get better, too, as a cover corner because that's where he was struggling a little bit the first couple of weeks. He's making some big plays on offense, but he had, I think, a 44-yard catch in this game that had a 15% catch probability, according to Next Gen Stats. He's starting to come into his own a little bit.
Yeah, he is. It's kind of cool watching him. I heard them talking about him a little bit last night. Said Deion Sanders told that staff in Jacksonville, you don't want to hold him back. The more he does, the better he's going to get. And it somewhat looked like that because he didn't stop moving. He had a one-on-one, to your point about man-to-man coverage against Kelsey. I don't think he broke it up, but he affected it essentially on not help. Kelsey, that's a size difference out of this world. And the guy that's been an all-pro future Hall of Famer, Travis Kelsey.
I think the thing that's impressive about him, too, is the fact that he's not just a run-after-catch guy, that he's making contested catches. I mean, the way he went over a defender in that game last night, for a player of his stature, that is very hard to do.
It really is.
Because he's not a big, rangy, physical guy.
No.
But, man, I think he's going to be a problem to deal with for a long time.
Yes, he is. You know what's crazier, too, about this division? Looking still at the Colts, the one game that they lost, they had 3 turnovers in.
And A.D. Mitchell, well, one of those was what Amari DiMercado did. He threw the ball out of the back of the end zone and then had a holding penalty that negated a 54-yard Jonathan Taylor touchdown run.
And they, I think, were about to take the lead up. Had a bigger lead at that point.
About to take the lead at that point. Yes, that's correct. Oh, my gosh. That's correct.
Silly.
This division's getting better, guys. And it makes things a little bit more challenging on the Titans to have to battle uphill against some good teams. And I think Houston, who's only going to get better, but something to monitor whether or not this division can sustain the amount of early season success that it's had. 615-737-1045. Brian Callahan said he started to do something new on Sunday. It is simple, yet important for the Tennessee Titans. We'll tell you what that is coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. In this market, you need a local real estate agent with years of experience and a proven track record. If you're looking to relocate, if you're looking to buy or sell in this hot real estate market in Nashville, you need my good friend Bernie Gallerani and Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. Other agents will just tell you, hey, I can help you. Bernie's not going to say he can help you. He's going to say he guarantees to help you because he is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. Bernie guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. It's that simple. No risk to you. He'll let you out of the contract at any time. The real estate agent with a 30-day guarantee to sell your home, and if not, he will buy it from you. You've got to remember this phone number, 615-428-2644. That's 615-428-2644. If you listen to this show for any length of time, you'll know that Bernie is the only real estate agent I've ever personally recommended. His heart for Nashville, his heart for helping people, it's unmatched in this area. He's going to do such a good job for you because he puts his money where his mouth is. So get the 30-day guarantee where if Bernie can't sell your home in 30 days, he'll buy it from you. Just go online. You can Google Bernie Gallerani Real Estate or check him out online at BernieGallerani.com.
8:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Monday Night Football last night as the Jags defeat the Chiefs 31-28 on a last-second rushing touchdown from quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence was the Jags' leading rusher with 54 yards on 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. He had another TD through the air, going 18 of 25 with 221 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The Jags improved to 4-1 on the season, matching their win total from last season, and the defending AFC champion Chiefs fall below 500 to 2-3. Playoff baseball continues in the MLB as last night the Los Angeles Dodgers survive a late rally from the Philadelphia Phillies to win Game 2 4-3 in their NLDS series and take a 2-0 lead. And the Brewers took down the Cubs 7-3 to take a 2-0 lead of their own. For foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, an hour 3 getting started on Ramon and Will. If you get a little bit of a yawn, a little bit of a to start your morning like Ramon just then, Scooter's Coffee could take care of that for you. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, Mount Juliet, amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. A pumpkin caramelicious coffee would be great for Ramon right now.
Yes, it would be. I got the house blend right now. I'm at the back end of this cup. I'm probably going to pour another cup in a second, man. I got the solution. That's what I'm telling you.
You do?
I got the solution.
These things are under your control?
Exactly. That's just me just getting out a morning stretch like an old grizzly bear. That's all.
I love it. So Brian Callahan has talked a lot about his change in routine since giving up play calling. And against the Houston Texans, he said it was kind of weird. He said he's trying to figure out where to fit in, figure out how it all works. He wants to be able to communicate and relate more to players. One of those players is going to join us, by the way, in just under a half hour. Cody Barton's going to stop by at 8:30. But I thought this was interesting from Brian yesterday, speaking with the media. And Brian Callahan talked about feeling more comfortable not being the play caller and some of the things he was able to do on Sunday in Arizona.
I did, yeah, I really did. I found, I can have a lot more energy. I can sort of have a lot more fun from a connection standpoint on the sideline because I'm not thinking about the next things. I'm still thinking about some of it, but it's not as focused. Yeah, I actually really had a lot of fun doing that, and I think the players felt it. You have to ask them more specifically, but I just felt like it was an opportunity for me to show my support for our guys and have great energy on the sideline in the midst of a challenging start and finding a way to finish. So, I think I'm kind of learning my way through that process and what that looks like for me, without the play calling, and I think it was positive.
Brian Callahan sounded so relieved yesterday, just in everything that he said, but especially in that way to be like, you know what? I think this has worked so far. I will tell you, just being there on the sideline and seeing the way that team is operating right now, like Brian Callahan got some air when Tyler Lockett recovered that fumble in the end zone. He was very engaged, very talkative is not the right word, but yeah, you could tell. Like, he was just excited.
Yeah.
You could tell that he has embraced more of his role of being a bit more of a communicator and just someone relating to players on the sideline more so than being locked in. Like, all right, what do we have on this next drive? What do we like? What do we not like? What's the game situation? What do we still need to get to? And all of those kinds of things.
So do you think he bit off more than he can chew in those first couple of years with trying to figure out?
Not necessarily. I don't know if he bit off more than he could chew.
I question that. I most definitely question it. Looking at it in hindsight and how you're saying he is now versus the stress of managing all of that, being in tune to all of that, and then also having to call the play. And then in 2 straight years having young quarterbacks that he's trying to show that he's the reason why they've improved. I think, again, his idea of being a play caller head coach was a lot for a first time. And Sean Payton got it under his belt. Andy Reid got it under his belt a little bit more, right? I'm not sure how, Sean McVay got it that quick, but he seemed to have picked it up a whole lot quicker. Maybe he had a better support staff with the Rams too. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But to your point, I personally think it may have been a bit much with the expectation of what this team should have been doing with the quarterbacks that they had. And then the other part of it for me is the compounding losses on top of it and how they lost. Like, that's a lot to stomach for a first-timer. So I will answer it for myself. I personally do think it was too much. He could get to a point to where if it starts to slip in the other direction, maybe.
Sure.
He can go back to that world. But right now, if he can do this again and stack wins, he shouldn't ever go back to it. He can have more protection.
To call plays, you mean?
Yeah, to call plays.
Yeah.
He has more protection, in my personal opinion, of being behind the scenes, suggesting to Bo, stick with it, go right here.
Sure. I don't know if we have enough sample size yet to know if it's really the fix. Does that team still win the game in Arizona with Brian Callahan calling plays? Maybe. Is it easier for him to communicate to Cam, hey, these are some adjustments I want you to make if he's not calling plays? Maybe. I think there are a lot of things that we just need more time to learn how these adjustments affect the overall flow of the offense. But it's fair to say that whatever they did on Sunday and however they communicated with Cam, the message got across.
It did.
Because Cam made a critical adjustment or two in terms of taking what the defense was giving him late in that game to make it work. Now, that being said, Cam Ward's still making high-level throws for 4 quarters that are coming out of either a bit hot, a bit early, or a bit behind receivers that could be caught with a supporting cast that makes the most of those opportunities. I keep thinking of the pass over the middle to Tyler Lockett that is behind him because Cam's trying to fit it between 2 linebackers and lead him upfield a little bit. That's not just an inaccurate ball behind a receiver. That's a pass to try to lead the receiver where the defender isn't. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
There are inaccurate passes. Like the 2 over the top to Chimere DK where he doesn't really give DK a chance to catch them and make a play are misses, but they are still chances that Cam is taking and making some high-level throws. So, while, yes, we talk a lot about Cam doing the simple things and making some of those adjustments, he is still showcasing quite a bit of talent, even on the plays that aren't hitting.
Mm-hmm. And Cam's biggest attribute, too, is himself personally. The confidence that he ended the game with, can he start it off again like that? I think there was the attempt against the Colts, wanting to be the guy to make plays for this team. The stand in the pocket component of that game, I feel like, was the biggest step for him and being calm. And what's crazy for his position is this. You got to be calm amongst the chaos. The quarterbacks that I've seen be really good in this league, either watching them as peers or being a teammate as one, is they never got rattled. And I think, of course, watching Cam after the game or be upset walking towards the sideline at times is something that he does have to control. I know a lot of people love that. Hey, I love the emotions. Not at the quarterback position. Quarterback go to the sideline, put his ball cap on, and he get his instructions on what's next in the mission.
Yeah, sure.
And there's growth for him in that moment. And I think that's why Callie reprimanded him a little bit when it came down to him saying the "we cheeks" comment. Like, I love it. It's honest. But when you have Jeff tell him the exact same thing, like controlling those emotions, the more ice he get in his veins, man, the better quarterback that he's going to be. Because to your point, Will, you're still seeing the high-level talent that's inside of him.
Yeah. We saw it on film at Miami, Ramon. I remember having this exact conversation in the draft process. Cam can do really good things off script when he's decisive. When he is looking for the answers to the test as he is scrambling, that's when bad things happen most often. Not always, because Cam is so athletic and has such a good arm that he can make mistakes and still, at the end of the play, it all work out because he's just really good at this. But against NFL edge rushers who are more athletic and can keep him contained more easily, he has got to be more decisive in whatever he does.
Right.
Whether that's going deep, whether that's scrambling to find someone off script, be decisive about where's my exit plan. Like when the house is on fire, you know the way you got to get to the first floor and get out of the house. When the pocket is on fire, Cam is not always going through the fire escape. Sometimes he's trying to take the elevator. That's the struggle for him right now.
True. That's true.
So I think there is something that clicked in his head. And I'm going to be optimistic and say that we're going to see more of Cam like we saw in the second quarter. And I know, it wasn't all bad in the first half. But I thought that Cam tried to do too much in the first half in Arizona. And the second that he just, you know what, made the realization that checking it down and just, I mean, he threw a pass away. I know because he almost hit me with it. He finally threw one away. That is when you start to really see growth and, okay, now we're playing NFL quarterback, not backyard football. Because as we've said, there are times to play backyard football. Cam's best moments are off script, but you have to be really specific and intentional of when you choose the moments to go off script and play backyard football. Low red zone, go for it. Field gets condensed, that comes down to making a play. Third down, when you've got to have something, maybe that's the time. But on 2nd and 10, when you've got to set yourself up for 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 or less, and not consistently being in 3rd and 10 or longer, or you're trying to do too much so you get sacked and now it's 3rd and 14, well, now we've got no chance. Right. We've got to be more intentional on moments to take chances. And I thought Cam did a really good job of that in the fourth quarter, specifically in Arizona.
What needs to settle him, too, and it's not just him, Cam Ward, as we speak of, it's cool because he's a franchise quarterback. But what he also needs to do and recognize, too, is don't waste the other side of the ball's good fortune.
Complimentary football is a big deal right now.
And with where this team is, you can't waste the sacks that Jeff is getting or the pressure that they're applying or the turnovers that they get from time to time. That is part of his role, too, in growth in this rookie year.
Yep.
Understanding the help that you're getting. But Chimere Dike is setting you up. You don't have to be a wizard. Like, it is that part of the game plan, too, that he has to understand a little bit more, sure, especially in the NFL ranks that he is in right now. Don't waste that good fortune, man.
Coming up, Titans linebacker Cody Barton will join us at 8:30. And when we come back, the Titans made another big adjustment in the second half on Sunday. Why did it take them so long, though, to go to more no-huddle and tempo? Brian Callahan answered that question yesterday, and we'll tell you what he had to say next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, man. That's the website, medicalhousecalls.com. 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have same-day appointments available to you or next-day guaranteed. Listen to them. If you know you're going to have an all-nighter on a Saturday night and you're trying to get ready to go to the game Sunday morning, guess what? They can come to your house by 7 a.m. and get you an IV because they do all of that, too. IV therapy is a part of the services that they have for you, man, from fighting the flu to performance-enhancing cocktails. Their nurses will come to your door, administer IVs to help you get back better and feeling better fast, too. If you're feeling fatigue, persistent illness or injury, difficulty focusing or being productive, there's an IV therapy for you. Or if you just need rapid rehydration or energy boost. But they also provide much more, too, man. They just simply bring it back the medicine concierge straight to your front door. No waiting in germ-filled urgent care rooms, appointments that don't fit your schedule, or uprooting your life kids and schedule to see a doctor. They will come directly to you, from primary care to sicknesses, whatever you need, they will come to you. And some of us just hate going to the doctors. Well, they will come to you. Website is medicalhousecalls.com, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can call or text this number, 615-838-2375. But make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you. It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control, man. Fall in Middle Tennessee, cooler weather, football, family time. Listen to me, I love it. There is no better time of the year than fall. But you know who else loved this season? Pests, stink bugs, Asian lady beetles, mice, even termites. They don't slow down because it's just fall. No, that's why I trust All-American Pest Control. Their Complete Care Max program provides maximum protection season after season with one simple plan, man. It's a peace of mind every time. Call All-American Pest Control or visit their website at yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone. Hour 3 continues, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. 615-737-1045, our number. Ramon Foster, Will Boulding. We will be joined in just about 8 minutes by Titans linebacker Cody Barton. What you got for Cody today, Ramon? What do you want to hear from him?
Being in a situation with a rookie quarterback, knowing that you have to support him, how does it feel like watching him grow in real time? Getting the honesty on that. Because, again, the expectation of that is the most veteran side of this team. That is the team that is the side that had good success against them. And just how did he feel about his growth, man? I want to hear that from Cody Barton.
Sure.
I think that's going to be super unique. And then, of course, I want to ask about Cedric, too.
I like it.
How has that been watching those young guys compete and Cedric just kind of take that step? I think it was 2 weeks in a row he's led in tackles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 29 tackles in the last 2 weeks combined.
Moving.
Playing well.
Yeah, he is.
Playing really well. I want to hear from Brian Callahan again yesterday talking about no huddle. Brian was asked, why didn't you go to no huddle or tempo sooner? And is that something this offense you feel like can kind of major in a little bit? And Callahan explained how the game plan of what Arizona was going to throw at them meant they didn't want to get in that until they really needed to. I thought this was an interesting answer yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a personnel perspective. You know, we felt like going into that game, one of the things that was going to be good for us and help calm that defense down some. They're real multiple when you get 11 personnel, and then particularly when you no huddle against them, they had shown to pressure quite a bit and make it hard on you. So we got bigger against them, especially early in the game. We were in some 12 and 13 and even some 21. We had some fullback stuff in there as well. So that was by design. We felt like that calmed that front down and calmed the scheme down a little bit. So that in and of itself in the game plan wasn't really part of how we were going to attack those guys. But we have done quite a bit of no huddle, and I think that package continues to grow. It is something that Cam feels very comfortable in and has shown to execute well. So those are things that we're, by game plan, of course, but those are things that he has shown to play well in, and those are things we're going to keep expanding as we keep going forward.
Ramon, you talked about it last week. You talked about it 2 weeks ago. It's been maybe the theme of the season for the way you think this Titans offense can improve. And you got your wish on Sunday with a lot more tempo in the second half.
I have to have it. You settle them down. As he said, so many multiple sets that Arizona gets in, or the fact that every team is going to try to confuse your rookie quarterback. Give him where he's at the line of scrimmage and he can get a hard count. Say, what? Then he settles them down. They got to get to where they are. Here's the thing about defensive players and teams, and I was talking about this with Rob Ayers and Savage this past Saturday watching college football. No matter what a defense does to you, how much they disguise and set it up, if you get to the line of scrimmage in enough time, they have to get to where they're going. You either see it in their feet when they're about to drop back, or they're actually blitzing, or a defensive lineman who's about to slant. They got to get to their spots. They can disguise it as much as you can, and the easiest way to do that is get to the line of scrimmage, move guys around, motion, and then you settle in and run your plays, man. It clears up the mess for you a little bit more. It can be problematic because, again, you're putting a lot of stress on yourself to make those completions. Your guys are tired trying to get back to the line of scrimmage also after plays. But the offensive line, I'll say this part of it more than anything, you have a better pace on attacking the defense than you do at outside of the box. What I'm getting at is if they can pair up that no-huddle tempo with running the football up the middle, giving guys breathers and beating on them a little bit longer, you take away the subbing, you make them settle in. There's a lot that can be taken advantage of from an offensive standpoint. I loved no huddle. I don't want to call it no huddle. I want to call it tempo. Tempo allows you to be in a position where you can dictate what's going to happen, especially with a young guy like him if he can handle it.
Well, I think, too, it just gives you another way to move the football efficiently.
Yeah.
Because I think this team is finding success in the run game up the middle. And I think that is kind of plan A, right? It's play action. It's run the football. It is relying on Tony Pollard in the run game. But then also you got to have a changeup. You got to have another method of moving the ball. And the tempo element of Cam's comfort level, I think, is significant. It's not what you want Cam to always have to be. in the NFL. He's going to have to be more of a drop-back passer within the structure of this offense. But for now, needing to have tempo as your break glass in case of emergency way of moving the football is solid.
It is.
I think it's a good way for this team to kind of go to something when they've got to have points or they've got to have a drive that's sustained.
It is. And you expect Cam to be fluid in those type of situations, too, when it comes down to his ability to know where to go with the football. One thing I will say in watching the Kansas City Chiefs play last night was this. Patrick Mahomes does the outside the pocket stuff often. You see him be super unique in that. But what you also see from him is his guys know where he wants to throw the football.
Sure.
And that's where I feel like this offense got to get to in order to have more success.
We are joined now this morning by Tennessee Titans linebacker and captain Cody Barton, recapping the 22-21 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Will Boulding, Ramon Foster with you. Cody, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time, man. Hey, how good does it feel in that facility right now after a win? I know players at any level will say it's easier to correct things after a victory versus a loss. What's it been like over these last 24 hours after Sunday's win?
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot nicer than going to the building with a loss. That's for sure. I mean, spirits have been high. Everyone's feeling good. It feels good to finally get a win. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, no doubt. Cody, what did this defense do well in the second half? And I know that, maybe media types and us will talk about Cam and talk about the offense and talk about the comeback, but you guys also had a big role to play in keeping Arizona off the scoreboard from the beginning of the second quarter on. What adjustments did you guys make, and what was working for you in the second half in this game?
Yeah, we didn't do anything crazy. We were just pressing the issue of playing clean ball and doing your job. And within that, the plays will come to you, and when a play does come your way, just make it. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing was just making sure you're playing clean ball and doing your job.
Well, joined by Titans linebacker Cody Barton this morning. Cody, one of those things you mentioned is playing clean. The offense has said the exact same thing too, man. From you guys' perspective, with having a good bit of veterans on that side of the ball, how has it been adjusting to understanding you guys got to carry just a little bit more because of the rookie quarterback and watching him grow in real time also? I'm sure you've dealt with this in your career, either in college or in other places in the NFL. How has this been for you guys as a defense to seeing him grow?
Yeah, I mean, we know with the rookie quarterback, and like you're saying, there's going to be some. I don't know what the term would be. I guess you could say some growing pains or just some learning lessons, you could call it. But we didn't see that some crazy thing. You know what I mean? Like from the things we've seen him do in camp and the role he's taken himself into, and just the leader he's become. We didn't think it would be some crazy issue, and we don't. You know what I mean? There's obviously been some learning lessons along the way, but we all believe in Cam. He's a hell of a player, can make all the throws. For a rookie to come in too and command the offense like that too, he's special. And so, whatever it is, whatever they're struggling on offense or not, whether they're rolling, we're gonna have his back regardless.
No doubt about it. Up the middle for this defense, man, you and Cedric Gray have been rolling. Just having guys being in coverage also. There was a competition in training camp between Cedric and James Williams, man. How has it been watching his growth? Cedric, that is, man. In the last couple of weeks, 29 tackles in the last two games, and you guys have just been cleaning up as much as you possibly can up the middle. What has that tandem been like as you two have grown?
It's been fun playing next to him, and that dude is he gets after it. He gets downhill. He's a huge factor in the run game, and he's fun to play next to. He's a young dude who's learning a lot, and like you said, 29 tackles I think it was in the last 2 weeks. Like he's been all over, and so I'm excited for him to see where the rest of the season leads to him, because every week he just keeps getting better and better, and it's been a lot of fun.
Titans linebacker and captain Cody Barton, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Cody, a report out there about a captain's meeting that you guys had last week, and I know Brian spoke about it a little bit post-game on Sunday, talking about how beneficial that was for you all as a leadership group and for him. What was kind of the basis of that? How did that meeting come about, and how much did you think you guys meeting as captains was able to benefit this team on Sunday in Arizona?
You're talking about like our Wednesday captain meeting?
Yes.
It was good. I mean, we've done it every week, but
okay.
It's just something we go over to start the week off and just talk about, where we are as a team, what we think should we do this, do that, tweak this, tweak that, or, just, I don't know, just talking about all kinds of stuff. But, those meetings are very important. It's just, you get a lot of different perspectives in that meeting, and just, it's an open room to have open conversation. There's no, you don't feel like you have to hold anything off your chest. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah.
It's I feel like every week it's been a productive meeting, and every week it's gotten more and more open and more accountable, you could say,
Sure.
But it's been good. It's been really good.
Well, that's good insight, Cody, for us to know, because the report out there from a national writer basically kind of made it seem like that was a one-off thing last week. So first of all, it's good for us to know that's kind of been a weekly occurrence. Brian mentioned yesterday in his press conference talking about how he's been able to take maybe more time with the defense and with special teams and on the field. He's been able to talk with you guys as players, especially on defense, more since Bo Hardigree started calling the plays on offense. Have you noticed a change in him at all? Have you been able to communicate more with Brian maybe since that change was made?
Yeah, and I've been able to communicate more with him. I've also obviously seen him more around. He's been coming in and sitting in our meetings, kind of just hanging in the back, doing, now that he's not calling the plays, he's doing more just full-on head coach things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Depending upon where you are as far as, any team that you play for, transparency is hard to get from a head coach. It is. Truth in the NFL comes hard, man, because it's such a business behind the game. How is it having Coach Callahan be as transparent with you guys this year? I feel like more than any coaches that I've kind of been around. Coach Tomlin was sort of that way, where he told you up front what was good, what was bad. But Callie seems to be open about everything that you guys are doing, man. Is that refreshing to you, or is it just part of the norm that he's kind of placed inside of that building?
No, I mean, it's the norm with him, but I love the transparency. He's very open, very straightforward, just says it how it is, and it's just there's no beating on the bush with him. He's open, and I like that. It creates another level of trust in him, and just the accountability factor as well. It's just I like it a lot. I respect it.
Have you ever been a part of a game that had that many twists and turns as Arizona did this past weekend? The drop football at the line of scrimmage, the interception, fumble, touchdown. What's going through your mind as those type of situations are going on?
I mean, when that dude dropped that ball and running that long touchdown, I knew we were on the sideline. I said, "Yo, it's a sign. It's a sign. Like we have to win this game." Things like that don't happen unless. I mean, I don't know how you see it, but like the football gods are saying something.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And being on the sidelines, Cody, you could definitely tell, the way you guys were able to rally around Snead for his effort on that play, and just the spark that was for you guys on the sideline. It was definitely kind of the turning point of that game. For you guys, though, now, Callahan said yesterday, too, like, we got to treat this the same way we treat one loss, right? It's 1 week, it's one game. What has kind of been the focus now to move on from Sunday? How motivated are you to build on that second half performance?
Very motivated, and I think it's important for us to get that first win, because I think it does show a lot of young guys that have been here and haven't been winning. It changed their perspective a little bit. I guess I don't know if you want to call it raises your belief or whatever it is, but I think just once you get that first win, it kind of changes that winning factor, and just it can make the next ones come easier. Well, I guess easy is the wrong word to use. It's not easy in this league, but attainable. But that being said, like I said earlier, everyone's happy, everyone's feeling good coming off a win. But at the same time, like Coach said, we have to approach this week as a new week, and so yes, it makes it more fun coming into this week with a win. But at the same time, we still have to approach this week with, positivity, enthusiasm, the same grit, everything we've been doing the past few weeks, and just building on top of that, if that makes sense.
Cody, you've been around some really good quarterbacks in your career. You were around a really good rookie last year. Of course, we already saw this year in Bo Nix as well. What was your first impression of Cam Ward, and how are you seeing him improve now 5 weeks into his rookie season? And what are kind of practices like with him right now as he learns on the job and kind of gets that real-time experience through the first month plus of his rookie season?
Yeah, my first impression of him was just when I met him. In the spring, I was like, okay. I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, we'll see. And then saw him that first OTA practice, and I was like, shit, this dude can throw the ball.
Cody, we can't use that 4-letter word.
Yeah,
right?
all good, but point stands.
Sorry about that. But I was like, this dude can sling it, that's for sure. But anyway, just seeing him grow, even just through camp in these past 5 weeks alone, just there's a lot of, after some of these losses we've had early on, I would text him at night or talk to him next morning about, these are learning lessons. And this is the way I believe is you're either growing or you're dying, and so you can learn from, even in these losses, there's a lot of learning lessons, a lot of growth to be had, and that's what he's done. He's taken these losses and just learned from his mistakes. And there's always going to be mistakes, obviously. Every game there's going to be stuff, and so you're always constantly learning, always learning to improve, and just that's what I've seen from him. And even this last game, there's always things to learn from. And when he had to make a play at the end, those last couple throws, he did it, and that's what you want at your quarterback. And he led us on the field and put us in the spot to win the game.
We're joined by Titans linebacker Cody Barton this morning. Cody, I say this in a good way because it's good to have guys like this around. But what kind of competitive pressure does Jeff apply to the rest of the squad to kind of say, hey, yeah, we're still in this thing? Like, the guys become a menace. And splitting double teams, man, and creating chaos up the back of the defense, man, how has it been for you guys on that side of the ball, even in losing efforts or in situations where you're back against the wall, he's still rolling? What does that competitive pressure look like for you guys?
It's just you can feel it. You can feel the energy that it creates, and it's infectious. I mean, that dude just, like you said, that dude's rolling all game, and just, that dude's just wrecking shop all freaking game.
Do you hear offensive linemen complain about it too from time to time? Because seeing it, I'm saying to myself, like, he's right there. Like, he's splitting a double team. It's 2 against 1. It's got to be comical sometime in y'all film study watching just a breakdown of it when he's lined up right there. Does it make your job up the middle a little bit easier too, knowing that one of the guards or center may not be up on you?
Yeah, makes it a lot easier. And I do know if, let's say for some reason they do climb up to me fast, there's no reason for me to go anywhere too fast, because if they leave him, he's going to be the backfield making the play every time.
Right.
So it definitely makes our lives easier back behind him, and it's just fun to watch the film, watching him go out there and making plays, and just, he's dominant every play.
No doubt. We saw you get picks in training camp. When do we get ours for pick 6 throughout the course of this season, man? Your ability to drop back and coverage, you said that earlier when you got to Nashville. It's like, no, I'm a coverage guy. Is that on your mind as you continue to play these games week to week too?
Oh, yeah. There was a few routes I was jumping in the game, and he never really threw that intermediate passing game over the middle.
Yeah.
As far as like digs, daggers, all that kind of stuff, all game. Like, there was one early on that I thought he was going to throw, and I jumped it to pick it, but he never really threw anything over the middle. And so I've been waiting, since, because what was the last pick? It was the Rams game.
Rams, week 2, yep.
And since then, there hasn't really been anything over the middle that I've been able to pick off. But it's always on my mind. Every play, I'm always thinking about it. As soon as I see the formation, I know it's passed. I'm always looking, at splits. Okay, what route is this going to be? Is this going to be the one? You know what I mean? It's always on my mind.
All right, Cody, a couple more for you on the way out here as we kind of get to know you and fans get to know about you and your background. So you come from like as athletic of a family as I have ever seen of any player on this team. So your mom played basketball and volleyball at Utah's in the Utes Hall of Fame. Your dad, Paul, a 2-sport Utah athlete, played football and baseball. You were teammates with your older brother, Jackson, on the offensive line. Your sister, Danny, played Utah volleyball. And your youngest brother, Lander, is playing linebacker as well. Who besides you, I'm not going to give you the cop-up answer of saying yourself, who is the best athlete in the Barton family not named Cody?
Ooh. I would say my little brother Lander.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Say Lander. People would argue that it's my sister or it's my mom, but I think it's Lander.
Always the youngest.
Behind me, obviously, but
Of course, right. That's why I didn't give you the cop out. So you grew up on an 80-acre ranch. Is that right? Like, what was the routine? Like, how much work were you doing around the place growing up?
no. So we split time. So we
Okay.
had the family ranch, and that's still there. But we didn't grow up full time on it. We grew up originally up the mountains, kind of above Park City. And anyway, we would drive, down into school. We moved to the city when I was 16, but we would just split time. So, like, Monday through Friday, we would do our sports in school in the city. And then after that on Friday, head back up to the ranch on the weekends and just have fun, do whatever. Fishing, hunting, do all that kind of stuff, riding horses. But it was always back and forth, back and forth.
Cody, are you always this chill?
This chill?
Yeah.
I usually feel like I'm a little bit more intense, but I slept in this morning. I got up like like an hour ago. I'm kind of just resting, off day, but
That's real.
Gonna ramp up.
yeah.
I love it.
That's real.
Cody Barton, our guest this morning, Titans linebacker and captain. Cody, man,
Players day off, baby.
really appreciate the time, man, and thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Cody Barton with us here this morning, kicking off his day with us here in the show. Appreciate it.
Chilling. By far, got to be the chillest linebacker I think I've ever had a conversation with.
And see, I agree with him though. I don't think you've been around him a ton in the locker room or on the practice field. Cody's not chill.
Yeah, no, it just seems like if you sit down with him, you're gonna laugh, and it's just gonna be like, all right, what's next? Laugh some more. All right, what's next? Like which is a good thing. You got to have that balance.
I was surprised he gave it up to little brother's the best
did.
athlete in the family.
It's because he picked on him, I'm sure.
Fair enough.
That's probably why.
Fair enough. Interesting, though, and we'll react to it coming up. The nugget Cody dropped about the captain's meeting,
Yeah.
Albert Breer kind of framed as a one-off thing. Sounds like that's weekly and maybe wasn't totally the full story told at SI.com. Talk more about that. Get to your phone call, 615-737-1045. And wrap up Hour 3 coming up next. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour 3 on this Tuesday morning. Open for your phone calls for about another half hour. If you want to get in here, 615-737-1045. You can subscribe to the Ramona Will podcast wherever you download podcasts, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where every minute of the show is posted and every interview. Austin Price in hour 2, Cody Barton just a few minutes ago, and CBS sideline reporter Aditi Kinkhabwala, who's going to join us coming up in a half hour as well. Good stuff from Cody Barton this morning. Appreciate his time. I think it's interesting that Albert Breer wrote about it at SI.com. There was a captain's meeting last week that the Titans really felt like spurred them on to victory. An open, accountability, air everything out kind of meeting. And maybe Albert Breer didn't overtly say it, but that was framed as kind of a one-off. And Cody Barton just told us a few minutes ago. Now, that happens every Wednesday.
Yeah, and again, hearing Cody say that too, like them speaking about Callahan's job security, because that was the main topic of that conversation, is if he just called them in and say, hey, here, can you imagine the coach doing it?
Let's figure it out, guys. Yeah.
Help me save my job, basically, is the way Albert Breer made that seem. But hearing Cody speak about how they speak in those meetings right there, it's like nothing's off the table. Absolutely nothing is above board when we discuss that. And that's why I was asking him about the uniqueness of having a very transparent coach, the way Coach Callahan has been, is this doesn't happen in the NFL. This isn't something that's a normal thing, because coaches, especially head coaches, are in a position to where they got to be bulletproof. They're always thinking about somebody trying to either take their job, or the performance of their job is being judged publicly by fans who, to be quite honest with you, can't tell them how to do their job. And for him to be in a position to open up to them, I thought was unique. But again, I'm sure conversation of Jarvis Brownlee probably popped up. I'm sure, hey, when it's Devondre coming back, these are the types of things that go into those types of meetings. So we never had a leadership council like that. We did at UT, and I know the Vols have that. They do more of that, I know, in the college level too, of getting I guess see where the team is, barometer on where the team is type of meetings often like that.
I said earlier this morning, I thought Devondre Sweat had one more week he needed to be on IR. That is actually not true. I forgot that was actually before week 2 where he was out. So to your point about Devondre potentially coming back, his window could open this week to play again.
Good.
We'll see. I did see him out there on the sideline. I mean, he's hard to miss on Sunday. I say that respectfully. I mean, he's very, very good at that size. So that's not an insult. That's a credit to a very big man who is.
You ain't got to apologize for that type stuff.
Well, I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just properly contextualizing it before people take it out of context.
We know who we are. At least we can walk around and say, at least I ain't big for nothing. I'm utilizing this and making money off of it, baby. Big for nothing is a different conversation, okay?
Gator Mike has checked back in, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Mike. Congrats on your victory.
What victory?
Yep, finally back to enjoying football, Will, you know?
No, Gator Mike. Last week, man, 2 weeks ago, you was ready to set the whole building on fire. Y'all just got a new investment with a locker room and everything. You was like, man, I'm done with Billy Napier. Now look at you. Look what a win does for you, Gator Mike. Man, I tell you the truth. Gator Mike.
Man, I'm telling you, it's almost like how he opened his press conference. This was the team we were waiting to see. And I was glad it couldn't come to a nicer team than Texas. You know what I mean, Ramon?
No, that's UT Junior. Call them what they are. UT
Junior. That's right. That's right. Stepbrother UT.
Yeah.
Man, it was great. And then that Dallas Wilson, for a true freshman, he is the real deal. Like, I'm just so glad it's good. You know, got a tough game this week, Texas A&M, Kyle Field. But, you know, if we can play a semblance of what we played on Saturday, I think we can handle that. Got to get some pressure on Marcel Reed. But, yeah, definitely I'm feeling better now, 2-3. You know, start to head the right direction. I still don't think it's going to be enough to save Billy Napier's job. You know, even if let's say they go 6-1 or 5-2, I just think, you know, because then you're looking at like that consistent, almost like the Jeff Fisher 8-8 every year, right? So I don't know, but I'm just glad to see them. They finally played a full football game and we got their W. So I'm back to normal, Ramon. I know y'all were worried about me, but I'm all good now.
Gator Mike, man, it was gloom and doom, man, about 10 days ago. Now you out here in and out of traffic, nothing bothers you. Your coffee was cold this morning. You still drank it. Like, what's wrong with y'all fans, man? Like, come on.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Hey, I was about to declare we were a basketball school, Ramon. It was that bad.
You said that out loud. I heard you say that out loud. Gator Mike, I heard you. See, this is football gets us. This is why Coach Mack says keep your powder dry. You just never know how the season's going to go.
Yep, you never know. There's still a lot of football to be left to be played, but good luck to y'all this week. And Will, good job. I listened to you on the radio on Sunday, so good job. Great to talk to y'all, and have a great morning, all right?
So enjoy your winning week, Gator Mike.
Appreciate the call.
By the way, I'm not going to let you get past that either. Will Bowling's updates on Titans Radio, you just step back. I got you. You ain't say this. You ain't pay me for this. We ain't bought me a cup of coffee, nothing. If y'all want to update, Will Bowling is cold with it. Okay, I heard my guy this weekend in a contested game, early in the game. I'm just like, Will is a damn pro out here, man. Like, I was hyped for my boy, man.
Appreciate it.
You calm, little nugget, look like enthusiasm in it and charismatic. I was like, who the hell is this guy? I say that seriously. As Gator Mike has said, it's been pretty solid, Will.
We got a good team. It's a privilege to be a part of that team.
I know the team is good. I was talking about you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me brag on my dog real quick.
I appreciate it.
You acting like me now, trying to deflect.
Appreciate it.
No, it was damn good. I'm happy to hear you do those though. It was pretty solid.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
it's been really fun.
Let me brag on you just for a minute. You just step back.
It's fun to be a part of a win. No, I'm glad to know I'm not the problem. No doubt about it.
No doubt.
Coming up, VolQuest's Austin Price joined us an hour early this morning. If you weren't up at 7:20, we'll give you the latest on Jermod McCoy's status and some bad news for Tennessee football coming up next.
9:03. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In NFL news, the Chargers placing first-round rookie running back Omarion Hampton on IR with an ankle injury. Hampton was drafted with the 22nd pick in this past April's draft and will miss at least the next 4 games. Hampton had 66 carries for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns through the first 5 games of his rookie campaign. Playoff baseball continues. Last night, Dodgers survived a late rally from the Phillies to win Game 2, 4-3 in their NLDS series to take a 2-0 lead. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the 4th and final hour of your Tuesday morning. On a rainy and gloomy Tuesday, I can tell that Ramon Foster is getting closer to 40 because yesterday he looked outside the window, sighed, and went, we needed this.
We do.
But we did. He's Ramon Foster, Jackson Williams in for Justin Hawkins. I'm Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. Dare I say it's soup season? This week,
You sounding like me. You
rainy,
better stop, man.
because you know what the lows are this
even
week.
30.
I'm your chief meteorologist for the moment.
And Babs is mad about it.
What?
Yeah.
What is it? The low is in the low 50s
What?
all week, but it's supposed to be
Beautiful.
sunny.
Listen.
I know a golf course hates to see me coming this week.
You summer people, you had your time, okay? Will, you trying not to sweat too much on the golf course, right? That's what this time of the year does for you.
This is the sweet spot because we got one more month before the time changes also, and then it starts getting dark at 5 p.m. There's not enough daylight. I mean, it is if you work at morning radio, but not everyone works at morning radio.
Tell the good news right, Will. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do it right, and you are right now. We're talking about grilled cheese and chili. Like, this is what we talking about, y'all.
Yesterday I had like a comfort food pasta
Come on, dog.
at the house.
Come on.
And some fried ravioli from a local establishment.
Can't have that in the summer.
You can,
Not
but it's
like-
just better now.
It's just better now.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I'm
absolutely
saying?
right.
Getting up, going to the gym is a little bit better now. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? Summertime, fine. Happens in the wintertime.
We've gone through our false fall. Now it
man.
feels like we will get an actual fall starting this week.
And I'm here for it. This rain ain't doing nothing but assisting it.
This is the best month of the year. I hope people understand that.
Not because you ain't got no birthday in this month or nothing.
No,
It's
my
just the
birthday's in
best.
July. But this is the best month of the year because you got October baseball. Yankees down 2-0, by the way. You've got hockey that's getting started this week. Preds are back. You've got NFL football. You've got good conference game college football. We're not playing Arkansas Pine Bluff and UT Martin anymore, respectfully. We're playing real conference football. And we've got the NBA back as well. There's soccer playoffs. Decision day for Nashville SC is next weekend. Feeling good right now, man.
We're in the
good day to
sweet
be
spot,
alive.
as you said, man.
Absolutely.
And if you also, if it's this time of the year we get hurricane season just slightly too, if you've aerated and overseeded your yard, it's a good time for the rain to naturally do its job too. So
Sure.
when I said we needed this, Will, we needed this.
It's a good time for me as a bored Braves fan in October as well because the Yankees are down 2-0 and so are the Phillies.
Yes. See, look at the conversation. Well, you mentioned this time of the year, and we got suggestions on food and soups out here.
Yeah.
Corey, grilled cheese and chili is a goated meal.
You know ball, Corey.
I wish somebody would slander that. You hear me? I'll call the police.
Can't. Don't know how.
I will call the police on them if they try to slander chili and grilled cheese.
We don't have the technology.
Absolutely not.
Aditi Kinkhabwala is going to join us in 15 minutes. Got to meet her on the sidelines for Titans and Cardinals on Sunday. We love talking with Aditi, and we will definitely get to like half of what we plan on talking about with her because that's always the way it goes, and we love her for that.
We do.
Because it's always a good conversation when you get to like a third of your questions that you got for someone. We did get a lot from Austin Price this morning of VolQuest and On3, our Tennessee insider who joins us every Tuesday. Typically that happens at 8:20. This morning it was at 7:20 because we had Cody Barton on the show at 8:30. We asked Austin about Jermod McCoy, Tennessee's All-American corner and projected first-round pick, who has been telling his teammates that he would play against Arkansas. according to Austin, I don't think he's even going to play against Alabama next week. This was Austin Price on the show earlier this morning.
At this point, I think that's what you're waiting on. There's no movement until he just does a team practice. He's not going to play in a football game until he does a team practice. So as long as he's just doing the individual stuff off to the side, then the path to the field is a pretty dark place. The moment he practices with the team, the sunshine comes out, right? So it's kind of like, it's kind of like Coach Heupel said a few weeks ago about David Sanders. It's a day-to-day thing. Right now he's not cleared. He could easily be cleared in a hurry and then be ready to go. Same thing here. Like he's not cleared, to go out there and play in a football game right now because he's not went out there with the team in practice. The moment that, that happens, then everything changes. The outlook changes for Jamon McCoy. So I think that's what everybody's looking at here is when does that happen? Does it happen? I think that's going to be up to the medical staff. Will be up to how Jamon feels, and we'll see where things go from there. I know Jamon has told teammates that he was hoping to be back for this game, and had told them for a month he was hoping to be back by Arkansas. That does not look like it's going to happen. So the question is when does it happen? I don't think if he didn't play this week, I don't see him playing next week. You're not going to throw him out there against that trio of wide receivers. Hey, first game back, go. So the question is when can he get back, this year?
Mm-hmm. Jamon McCoy not expected back the next 2 weeks. What does that mean for Tennessee's defense right now, Ramon?
You'll go with what you know. It'd be awesome because I would hope third down situations would be good. Vols have also just gotten gas in situations where the personnel I don't think has had that big of a difference because Colton Hood has turned himself into a potential first round, at least first 2 days of the draft pick. Ty Redmond has become solid, young but solid. The issues that they've had is breakdown in zone defenses.
Yeah, they just can't play zone because they're consistently leaving guys wide open.
Yeah. And that, of course, you know how it is. The reason you felt better about Mississippi State is simply because they were able to sack the quarterback a little bit more. Mississippi State hurt you on the ground. It wasn't because Jamon McCoy wasn't there, right? You knocked out one of their best pass catchers in the game, Brendan Thompson.
Yeah.
Like
Speedy guy.
Like, there's the issue that you've had with Jamon, I think, is the idea of, man, I got all this horsepower, let me use all of it.
Well, and two special teams and turnovers gave Mississippi State a lot of short fields in that game. That part. Their yards per play was drastically different from Tennessee in that game because they just didn't have to go as far.
Right. But I'm with you. Like the three-headed monster that Alabama has at wide receiver, you love to see him get his feet wet this week. Taylor Green can spin the ball down the field. That offense can be high power. You love to see him get his bearings at home. The encouraging thing, and I'm an optimist, okay? I will say this. I'm naturally just hey, it's good until I see it's all done and bad.
Sure.
He said the moment that he practices is the moment he goes. Today is just Tuesday. Austin's earlier in the week for us. If he practices tomorrow, right, can he go on Saturday? I don't know what Austin's alluding to by saying if he practices, he's going. And Austin usually give us nuggets, and we just watch him become true later.
Yeah,
he ain't practiced yet.
That would be a really quick turnaround to having 2 days of full practice or 2 days of even limited practice. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. I think at this point, I mean, you need him back when you play John Mateer in Oklahoma on November the 1st.
Ideal.
You really need him then. And your second bye week is November the 8th. I mean, at what point, though, is his contribution too little too late? Is Tennessee still a playoff contender by the time he returns? I don't know. But you would like for him to be here, and you can strike while the iron's hot because Tennessee's got to win 2 out of 3 against Alabama, Florida, and Oklahoma. And then take care of business in games like Saturday against Arkansas where they're a 2-possession favorite. And then you got Kentucky in there, who is by far the worst team in the SEC. I mean, you do have the benefit of the schedule this year in that you might be playing the 3 worst teams in the SEC if you want to throw Mississippi State in there.
Absolutely.
And Mississippi State's a good team. However, there are a lot of good teams in the SEC. I think maybe State might be better than Auburn. Maybe. The way Auburn's playing up front right now.
CeeLo had Auburn beating Texas this upcoming weekend? No. Is it
That's
Texas?
Oklahoma,
no.
Texas.
Auburn has, golly.
Auburn plays Georgia this weekend.
He had Auburn beating Georgia. He said he's calling his shot. He did the same thing in Texas, Florida.
I don't know about that one.
He called Texas, Florida, though. Florida over Texas.
I picked that one, but
you did too?
I'm not picking this one.
I know Babsy was happy to hear him say that, though. He called his shot. Now, I don't know what that means for Georgia or Auburn.
I mean, to be fair, Hugh Freeze teams would beat Saban and lose to Brett Bielema.
Exactly.
That's who Hugh Freeze is as a program builder. They'll win some they're not supposed to. Unfortunately, they'll also lose some that they're supposed to win, but that's going to be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Aditi Kinkhabwala of CBS Sports joins us. She was on the sidelines with Spiriditas Adam Archuleta for CBS's television broadcast of Titans and Cardinals on Sunday. We'll get her insights coming up.
It's Ramon Foster for Prince's Hot Chicken, the original hot chicken. You've had hot chicken around states or the country for that matter. It started with Prince's, man. They got 5 locations around the city, numerous ones, man. They got the Nolensville Pike one. I've gone to that one. Also seen the one at Assembly Food Hall. If you're out at the Tanger outlets or coming in and out of the city, they have them also at BNA Airport in between concourses C and D, man. But here's the thing about it. They got numerous flavors for you to try. Plain, light, mild. Y'all can laugh at me all you want to. I stick with light, mild, okay? Anything above that, you risking whatever you want to at that point, all right? But it's not just chicken. They got some amazing sides like mac and cheese, potato salad, baked beans, seasoned fries, greens, and coleslaw, too. And to top all that off, they also have some desserts for you, so you can go ahead and get some sweet in the end of it, man. Strawberry cake, pecan pie, and more. It's football season. Y'all know this, too. Tailgating, huge. You can get a lot done, man. And Princess can help you with that. They cater from 15 people up to 1,000 plus. So no party size is too big for you. And if you're thinking it's just chicken, no, absolutely not. They got vegan and vegetarian options as well that are available for you. Princess got you covered, man. The original hot chicken. You can learn more about them or visit one of the numerous locations around the city. Go to princess.com.
Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone in hour number 4. It's streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling pleased to be joined by NFL on CBS reporter Aditi Kinkhabwala. She was on the sidelines for Titans and Cardinals on Sunday, and I finally got to meet her in person. What's up, Aditi? How are you?
Well, it was so nice to meet you. And Ramon, I did miss you. But let me tell you, Will mans those sidelines. He really does.
I was bragging on him a second ago, Aditi. I told him, I was like, Will, you sounded good. I told him, I said, find Aditi. Aditi's going to have nuggets for you on the other side over there, too. So,
yeah, but you know what? Will was very focused. I will say this, that Ramon, in the middle of a game, I'll talk to him about a play, or I'll say, what are you seeing here? You couldn't interrupt Will. He was all about what he was paying attention to.
That was also one stadium, Aditi, where I've got to stand in like one spot for the mic to pick up, because that stadium is so big that it's like the distance from the radio booth in the corner to like the other corner is like I had to run back to my spot, say something, and then run back to wherever the action was or whatever I'm watching in the sideline. But I am curious, Aditi, from your perspective as someone that was around this team last year, around Brian Callahan, around just the operation of this coaching staff. Brian admitted that he has seen and noticed a difference in himself since Bo Hardigree started calling plays, saying things like, I could talk to the defensive guys more. I'm having more fun. I'm able to just do more besides just be so focused on calling the plays. What differences did you notice in maybe the build up to the game and just during the game in the way Brian Callahan is working now as a non-play caller head coach?
Well, first of all, it takes so much time to come up with a game plan, install a game plan, go over. I think that people don't realize it's not as simple as just, okay, I show up and like pick things out of my head on Sunday. So he definitely did talk about that with us before the game, that he has more opportunity to sit in a special teams meeting, sit in a defensive meeting, not as a micromanager, but just to show those players that he is available to them as well, that he is coaching the entire team and not just the offense. He also, I asked him because he forged his career on coaching quarterbacks and the work that he's done with quarterbacks. But when you're the head coach and you have all the obligations of the head coach and you are the play caller and all of that, you maybe don't necessarily have the same amount of time with the quarterback specifically. And he said now he does actually have more time to kind of just visit with Cam and talk to him and share some stories about Peyton Manning or Joe Burrow or whatever. And I actually said to him, I said, I remember Nick Sirianni telling me this when he gave up the play calling duties to Shane Steichen. He also, just like Brian Callahan, had done that in season. And he said that his relationship with Jalen Hurts improved when he handed off the play calling. And every Friday, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, I'm assuming they're still doing this, but at least the last time we talked about it, every Friday they'd sit and just talk. And it would sometimes be about being little brothers. Sometimes it would be about being sons of coaches. Sometimes it would be about the opponent. But it was just an opportunity to get to know the person that you are most tied to, which is your quarterback. And that little bit of extra time gave him the chance to forge that relationship. And so I said to Brian, when we were meeting with him on Saturday, I said, Nick said this. And Brian said, I can see that. I can really see that. I'll say this. He was way more level and collected than I expected on that sideline. Last year, I'll say that leading up to the game, seeing a lot of the press conference interactions, I sort of was like, is he okay? Like, is he holding on? Okay, obviously this is a crazy amount of pressure, but is he feeling that he is true to himself? And I felt like several games last year watching his demeanor on the sideline, I don't want to mischaracterize it. I don't want to say that he was, hanging by a thread or being extra frustrated. But I just thought that he looked better. He seemed cooler. He seemed more collected. Yes, he was angry about some calls. One was, I think it was a hold that should have been called a hold and absolutely wasn't on Jeffrey Simmons. But even the way that he was arguing with the refs was not crazy. And I was just talking about this with my producer. I was on the phone with him just before y'all called. I did a hit in that game, and the score might have been, I don't know if it was 21-6 or 21-12, but they came to me and I said, guys, this sideline has not given up. I have not seen one hung head. I have not seen any guy looking like he's resigned in any way. I keep seeing Jeffrey Simmons walk up and down this defense. I see Cam Ward very coolly talking to his wide receivers. I see Calvin Ridley bringing all this energy. And I had read that this was a team that didn't believe in its coaches or had given up or was resigned already. That's not what I saw at all. And so my producer was actually saying, you kept insisting that that was the case, and that was a piece of foreshadowing. And it was yes, they got lucky. Yes, the Cardinals handed them that game in some ways, but you still have to seize on it. You still have to take advantage of those opportunities. So I don't know. Sometimes, Will, I think you and I talked about this a bit. I go back to 2022 when I covered the Detroit Lions. And at the time, Dan Campbell was 4-18-1. And they were 1-5 going into this game that I was covering. It was against the Miami Dolphins. And Sheila Ford-Hamp had given a vote of confidence to Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell that week, in the sense that she had said, you know what, I believe in the process, and I believe in the process that we undertook to hire these two men. And it sort of quieted things a little bit, that ownership is not necessarily putting their feet to the fire. She's saying, I believe in this process. And then I remember saying to Dan Campbell in our meeting, because at the time, the Lions were losing just like the Titans are losing, falling apart at the end of games, in every game, but unable to finish. And I said to Dan Campbell, how do you teach a young team how to close out games? And he quoted Bill Parcells to me. He said, Parcells would always say, you teach a team how to win a close game by winning a close game. And so that week, they played Miami tough. They did not win, but they had a good second half comeback. And then the very next week, they won a close game. And then do you know what the Lions did? They kept winning close games. They kept winning. It clicked. They turned. And the end of that season is when they beat the Packers and Aaron Rodgers when they had nothing to play for, and Rodgers and the Packers had a playoff berth to play for. And that, of course, was the beginning of everything. You know where the Lions have been the last few years. So it's funny because I look at the Titans, and I do think that there's still a deficit in terms of depth. There's still a deficit in terms of game-breaking playmakers, the number that you'd like to see. But I don't know. Sometimes you just need to win a game.
Right.
You do.
It's well said.
What you on by, Aditi?
Look at the Texans.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ramon. I'm cutting you off.
Go ahead. You got it.
Well, I had the Texans week 3, and I'll be honest with you, it was awful. They were against the Jaguars. That sideline looked nothing like your sideline looked. Guys it was terrible, terrible, terrible football. The entire offensive operation was messy. You just didn't feel any sort of sense that this team was getting itself together or on its way to getting itself together. The Jaguars, of course, won that game. But then the Texans get that one win against the Titans last week. And then look at what happens against the Ravens.
For sure.
Sometimes you just need that one win. Sometimes you just need to know, hey, the work is worth it in some way. Sometimes it's knowing, hey, our backs were against the wall. We were dead in the water. The Cam Ward led us on that drive. And there's the last thing I'll say. At the end of the game, I'm waiting to interview Cam Ward, and Jeffrey Simmons comes over and very emotionally grabs Cam Ward and says, this is why you were bleeping drafted. And it just was such a cool moment. It was the veteran who has given everything, who is playing better than he ever has and maybe better than any defensive tackle in the league, telling the young guy, you are exactly who we believe you to be. It's pretty cool.
It is. We're joined by Aditi Kinkhabwala this morning, CBS Sports. Aditi, you mentioned Dan Campbell, somebody else you didn't mention too, and it's a very similar situation. There's Kevin Stefanski. I feel like when you mention those three guys and you wonder how they were able to retain their jobs after bad seasons and bad play, and it starts with what you had said, the retention of the locker room, being able to stomach that, because Dan Campbell did inherit, of course, Jared Goff through a trade, kind of jump-started there. Stefanski's had a lot of issues, but he's two-time Coach of the Year. I'm looking at Callahan's situations, trying to correlate it to, do you see this process boding better for the Titans because they got a quarterback that you think is very stable now with Cam Ward, and Callahan's kind of, as you said too, relieved himself of the pressure of calling games to where you probably have a similar trajectory of the Detroit Lions with turning culture over if he can retain what he's gotten so far? Is that what you see out of Callahan?
You know, it is a locker room. Now, I don't know it as well as the beat guys that are in there every single day. And Will, you're more of an expert on this than I certainly am. But I would say that the guys that I am watching or getting to be around, I feel like are the sort of guys that you want.
Yes.
Like they are bought in, they are playing hard. A guy like L'Jarius Sneed, let's do that. You know, we have to be fair. You know, he barely played last year. And it takes a little bit of time to get into football shape and get your legs under you and buy into the fundamentals. It's funny, I was talking to Jeffrey Simmons about this last week, how the hardest thing to do, and Ramon, you can say this, you know this better than anyone too, the hardest thing to do when your team is losing is just do your 1/11th.
Yep.
Like, don't try to do too much. I feel this on the sideline. Like, get me in, I can help. It's like Antonio Brown, get me the ball, you know, but like, just do your job and the ball will come to you. You'll be in the right gap. You'll make the right play. But when you're losing, you feel this like, oh my God, what more can I do? What more can I do? And sometimes that gets you out of position. But anyway, L'Jarius Sneed, the way that he was engaged on that sideline, the way that he was talking to his teammates, this isn't a guy that's indifferent. And I've been reading that he was indifferent and he doesn't look like himself. No, I just think it's a guy that's getting his legs under him.
Right.
Let's be fair. So, like, when we talk about this young quarterback, Jared Ward ran the wing T in high school. He averaged 12 passes a game. Do we like acknowledge and recognize how many years as a passer he actually had? We're talking about 5 or 6 years that the guy's been throwing the ball regularly. Not even like an incarnate word he wasn't throwing the ball like this. So there's so much development and growth that has to be done. At that position, it's managing the huddle, it's managing the play calling, it's reading defenses, it's making checks, it's not trying to win every game with your arm and do the crazy stuff. I mean, we talked to Kyler Murray about it on Friday because some of Cam Ward's footwork just looks sort of sloppy. And Kyler was like, he's not going to fix any of that until the game slows down. Mm-hmm. And then we're sitting here and we're thinking about it. And, well, Justin Fields told me it wasn't until last year with the Steelers that he really actually addressed his footwork. Baker Mayfield's footwork was fixed when Alex Van Pelt came in with Kevin Stefanski. Trevor Lawrence, we had week 3, and they changed his footwork on the shotgun snap, and he said, it's so much better. I can't believe nobody told me this before. And not only is it the footwork, but how open he is when he throws. So it's a constant process. And I think to sit here and think, okay, you're going to draft this rookie number 1 overall, and all of a sudden he's going to completely change your franchise. Don't you all remember what Peyton Manning did his rookie year? I mean, not everybody can be a Ben Roethlisberger who steps in to one of the best defenses in the league and one of the best run games in the league and a tremendous offensive line, and you can get away with doing the most basic things. Usually the number 1 overall quarterback goes to a team that's really bad and doesn't have a full roster behind it. So it's the fans' right to be impatient. It's the fans' right to want to win, but I would just beg fans to acknowledge and recognize the reality of a situation and say, okay, sometimes it's about the small wins, the small signs of progress.
Well, Aditi, it's so interesting, too, in the conversation we have weekly, is that a lot of Cam Ward's best moments happen in kind of the play after the play and outside the structure that maybe coaches want him to play in. But that's tricky, right? Because if you're making incredible plays and moments off script, Well, then how do you build a script that then allows Cam to do that? And I see coaches, and you hear Shannon Dawson at Miami talk in college about, like, yeah, we would just tell Cam, like, go out there and play, right? But there's an element of that you have to earn in the NFL, where once you get the elementary stuff down, then maybe you can do the 200 and 300 level, throws down the field and things like that. Just what is your impression? I know you've interviewed Cam in the draft process. You've been around him. You've gotten to know him. But now seeing Cam 5 weeks into his NFL journey and career, where in this process has Cam impressed you? And where is he, what has been your overall impression of just the start for Cam? Because there's a lot of good in that game on Sunday, but there's also a first half where you're pulling your hair out thinking, like, well, what are you doing in some of these deep passes?
Sure, but, I think that he's very, very, very smart. And I remember telling you guys this shortly after the draft. I did something that you never should do, which is ask a 2-part question or a 3-part question. Sure. And I did, and he answered all parts of that, like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, whoa, this guy's got it. But it's not just that. He is very smart. And I would say he is smart enough to know that the goal is to be a complete quarterback. And that means managing an offense. That means trusting the pocket. That means stepping up in the pocket. And yes, that does mean running the scramble drill or using your legs. I mean, in some ways, it's funny because Calais Campbell actually said that he's surprised he's not using his legs more. And I sort of feel that way a little bit too. I think Kyler Murray on the other side would be a little bit better if he would create a little bit with his legs. But you can see that Cam Ward is committed to learning the most important parts of the quarterback position and not just turning the street ball. And that's sort of the easy thing to go back to, okay, I'm just going to play street ball. And that's not what he's doing. He's learning the position. He's learning the offense. He's learning the fundamentals, the basics, all of that. And so that creativity is not going to go away. The ability to move is not going to go away. I commend him for not just falling back on that and actually trying to improve every week.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think it's deserving to have Callahan win, lose, or draw every game, or lose or draw every game from here on out, more time to craft himself into a better head coach for the sake of Cam, maybe, if that matters, or just for stability? You saying run it back?
I talked to Peyton Manning last year. I was doing the Broncos-Colts game, and I was looking at 2 young quarterbacks at the time, Anthony Richardson and Bo Nix, who were desperately trying to be Peyton's heir apparent, right? Neither of those franchises have won since Peyton took them to the promised land. So I thought, let me call Peyton and see what he thinks about these guys. And one of the things that Peyton feels so strongly about is stability in coaching for young quarterbacks. And Peyton had Tom Moore for the entire decade that he was in Indianapolis, and how much of a difference that made in his development. And that first year when he was terrible, the coaches just sticking with him and giving him, like he made a joke, if that was Bill Parcells, I would have been out week 2. But I don't believe in stability for the sake of stability. I don't believe that you just keep running back something that's very clearly not working. And we've had that conversation a million times, Ramon, especially you and I, about your former team. Not the head coach, but certain ways of doing things. Right. If this way isn't working, why do you keep doing it? It's not a valid reason to say, well, that's our way. But in this case, I feel so strongly about the human being that Brian Callahan is, how much he cares, how smart he is, how committed he is to he himself getting better. And that's another conversation I had with Jeffrey Simmons last week, where Simmons was telling me why he has Callahan's back and why he believes in Callahan so much. And one of the things he said is that he is never afraid to say to us, what do you think about my doing it this way? Or how do you feel? And that's not a sign of insecurity. It's more, I want to make sure this lands as well as possible. I want to make sure that I am considering all sides of any equation that there are. And maybe sometimes he'll take what the players say, and maybe sometimes he believes in his gut it's a certain thing. But when you hire a first-year head coach, you have to know that there is a growing process to that too. And I just don't know why you hire someone who's never done the job and then not have patience with them. I mean, I'll tell you a story. When I was a newspaper writer for the first 10 years of my career, and then I was hired at the NFL Network. I'd never done television, not in college, not in high school, nothing. I didn't even know that a microphone is so strong that when you're in the Superdome, you don't need to yell in the microphone, that you can talk in a normal voice that it'll pick you up. I mean, the basics. I knew nothing about television. And a few months in, I found out that an executive had said, well, I was completely wrong about her. She can't do it. She doesn't have it. And another executive had told me this. And the second executive had gotten very angry that she'd never done TV. We knew she had never done TV. We knew she'd never worn makeup before she was given this job. We knew that she'd never written anything less than 1,000 words and we knew that we weren't teaching her how to talk in 30-second sound bites. Like, how can we give up on her when we knew we were hiring somebody totally green? And that executive took time with me and taught me and sent me film. And it's a never-ending process. Melissa Starks, who does Sunday Night Football, is one of my great, great, great friends. She sends me her clips because it's teach tape to me. Yeah. Like, I watch her do injury reports. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do it this way. Sure. Or this is so brilliant how she did this. If you want to get better, you're constantly learning. Yep. But my point is this, how can you hire somebody and so early in the process, before they've ever done something, say they're never going to be able to do it?
Right.
If you believe in your process, if you believe in why you chose this person, then give that person a chance. And give that person some players. Guys, isn't last year kind of a wash? I mean, Brian Callahan didn't have a quarterback that fit him in any way at all. Like, I just, it feels hard to saddle him with that. I mean, we keep hearing Antonio Pierce say it this year that, oh, well, the Raiders have a quarterback. I didn't have a quarterback. Right. I wanted a quarterback. So that's questionable now, guys. What's going on with Geno Smith?
Goodness, yeah. A whole other conversation, but you're right. That's what we're trying to get into this week. As we go
I'm not letting you guys talk much. I'm sorry.
You're good.
No, you were awesome.
And I wish we had more time because we are out of time. But Aditi, you always make us smarter. We appreciate you as always, and hope to see you again soon. Hopefully, we've got more time to catch up next time we share a sideline together.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
When you sneak into Nashville again, you have to come by the studio and do an hour with us, Aditi, because I'm sure you have a Titans game at some point this season.
I would hope. I love coming to Nashville. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you, Aditi. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. Aditi Kinkhabwala with us this morning. Great, great stuff as always. We will wrap up the show with you coming up next.
And we're back, and I'm here to tell you this, man. 50% of the air you breathe in your home, it comes from your crawl space. I asked this question, have you ever looked in your crawl space? Most of the times, we don't even want to know what's in there, but moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that can make their way into the air you breathe every day in your home. It's Ramon Foster, and this is where United Structural Systems can help you out. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. Help control moisture and musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space. It also helps deter mold and mildew and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. You can turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Reach out to the company I trust for all foundation repair and waterproofing, all right? You can reach them at their website at ussTN.com. That's ussTN.com, or call them the old school way, 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems.
Wrapping up the show on this Tuesday morning, Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Buck Rising has you covered. Coming up next, comment on YouTube, Ramon says, y'all got to figure out a way to have Aditi on weekly. She's one of the better national sideline reporters out there. We couldn't agree more. She is terrific.
Yeah, Aditi been killing it. I texted some of the comments that you guys have sent over to her. She was like, professionally, she needed to hear that this week, too. Nice. So I told her that we want to have her weekly, and I'm going to try to negotiate this somehow, some way. We'll see. Let me get it.
At least regularly. She's got a busy schedule, but.
Yeah, she does have a busy schedule. And a mom on top of a lot of other stuff, too. She does other stuff. Let me see what her weekly schedule's like.
All right. Okay.
It might be do it.
I like it.
Might be do it then.
We love Aditi. Absolutely right. Tomorrow morning, Brian will be here as always. We will start to look ahead to a very, very good college football week. Have you looked ahead at some of these matchups? I haven't looked at
fully yet because I'm just looking at what Arkansas is presenting us this week.
Fair enough.
But no, what's our schedule?
This weekend, we have College Game Day in Eugene for a Big Ten matchup between Oregon and Indiana. 11 a.m., we start off the day with Bama at Missouri. Mm-hmm. Red River is at 2:30. And yes, it's the Red River Shootout. Let's not gloss over one of the better rivalry names.
Right.
Michigan goes to USC. Interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
USC hosting Michigan. Midwest teams who just learned that they had to travel to the West Coast when they broke up the Pac-12 have struggled this year. Oh, no, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Georgia is at Auburn under the lights at 6:30. We've spoken about that game a little bit today.
Why does that seem so like
Deep South oldest rivalry?
A weird matchup.
Because it's Auburn. Auburn does not play normal football games, Ramon. You know this.
I know.
Even games they win. Typically, they do so in some very odd fashion that requires divine intervention for the Auburn family.
You silly man.
What?
I'm just wrong. Laughing out loud. That's
Why
all.
are you booing me? I'm right.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not, man.
Ohio State, Illinois, Willie mentions in the F and Ving chat. That's right.
Sure is.
Iowa State is at 2-4 Colorado.
Texas
2-4 Colorado.
Florida.
Rocco Beck to the Cyclones are 5-1. Nebraska at Maryland coming off a big win last week.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Dampier, your boy.
Yeah.
Utah hosting Arizona State in a Big 12 matchup.
I was hoping they had a little bit of a better start to what they got going on right now, but
maybe I'll mess up and pick one of these correctly because I'm 0 for my last 9 in the Thursday 3, and I'm really upset about it.
Bro, can we investigate Texas Tech while we're at it too?
What is there to investigate?
They're top 10 at
They're
this
legal
point.
in the money they're spending now. I know.
They hadn't gotten anything less than a 5-star at this point.
It's working. Back at it tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. You know where to find us. Zone TV. Hit the podcast feed if you missed Austin Price, Cody Barton, or Aditi Kinkhabwala. We will talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning.
You know how it goes. Your Twitter fingers and your mic. It's always hot, baby.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.